Hi everybody, come join us here at The Experience this Monday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We just got all this new commission cover art from Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. We're going to have these two on Monday. We got the Penguin and the Green Goblin, and Mariano himself is going to be here coloring them live. It's going to be so cool. You guys can ask him questions. You can see how the process is done. It's really going to be a cool show. So come join us, the whole gang, here at The Experience, Monday, September 19th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see ya.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night. Didn't have any audio when we first started, but it didn't stop us, did it? They won't stop us. Anyway, we are here for a fun time talking about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. I'm very excited to be here, everybody. We're going to have a great show. We got lots of fun planned, including the DC sneak peek. We'll be talking about the latest season of Cobra Kai in kind of spoilery detail. We'll be talking about the new Alex Ross book, Fantastic Four Full Circle. We'll be talking about Escape from New York, the next step in our John Carpenter filmography. Then we're going to be doing the book report. And then top 5 movies of 2016. But all of that is rubbish compared to the conversation that we are about to have here about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. Because even though we have a grand plan, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. So once you get in here, what do you want to talk about? Throw out a station, maybe a pop, pop, boom. Let us know that you're up in the room. And this is the place where we go zoom, zoom, zoom. Sure. If you want to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, or you can do so with the Super Chat, which will trigger a Joker video. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram, and if you're on Facebook, you might as well make it official. Join the PCP Army. That is the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. Yeah, that's what that is. You can also follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie, and you can find podcasts, merch, and a whole lot more at popculturephilosophers.com. So once everybody gets in here, let me know. And let's see who's in here right now. We got the artist formerly known as Jesse Say What. Atari came in and then retracted a message. I wonder what that was. Ouroboros is in the house. James is in the house. Two Gun Pedro. Pew Pew. What is up, my man? The Name Changes is in the house. Jorum's in the house. Spilios is in the house. He's got something to say. It's better to burn out than fade away. CTA Frank in the building. Mark Talks Comics. What is up, Mark Station? The Luke Meister is here. Reverse Amoeba is here. John Rawson is here. What is up, man? Jacques is here. You know, I wasn't even going to say it at first, and I don't want to say it with as much enthusiasm as I would like to, but CTA Frank is right. How about them Cowboys? I couldn't believe it. It was a stressful game to watch. We'll talk about that. We got Michael in the house. What is up? Sinner's in the house. CMA Thunder. The thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. Heck yeah. Chris Calgill's up in the house. Capsule's up in the house. Comic Book Therapy's up in the house. We got a lot of people coming up into the room. Very excited to see you. Mark's got a question. Is Dan Slott's Fantastic Four run worth reading, as the first issues were pretty weak, or should I wait for the relaunch? You can obviously wait for the relaunch. That's totally fine. I would say that Dan Slott had an overall average run of Fantastic Four. If you look at the run compared to all the other Fantastic Four creative teams who have done runs on Fantastic Four, right? It will kind of be like middle of the road. It will be decent. It will be memorable, mostly because of the wedding of Ben and Alicia and these two kids. So it will have lasting repercussions, at least for the next run and to the next one after that. Maybe we'll see. But overall, I thought it was solid. It was a bit inconsistent. I thought it struggled at first as well. Then I thought it kind of pulled itself together a little bit with the wedding stuff and the Herald of Doom story. And then it kind of lost the plot a little bit. But there was a moment, I believe it was around in the 20s or something like that, where R.B. Silva came in as the artist, and it just clicked all of a sudden. Like having an artist that was totally and tonally appropriate for the Fantastic Four. And then eventually he left, and the book kind of hit some more inconsistencies, but I think overall it ended stronger than it began. So I do think it strengthened as it went, even though it did have some dip dives here and there. It still thrived. That was stupid. I shouldn't have done that one. But overall, I do like it. I think I would give the run overall like a 3.5. But I haven't reread it. I need to. Oh, Spilio, my singing missed you. Thank you so much. Atomic Buzzard's in the house. What is up? Open up a beer, Rob. Gee. I got some whiskey tonight. Got my new whiskey glasses. They're iridescent, so they make like these colors in the light. It's pretty cool. I don't know. Taki in the house. How about them Cowboys? Week 1 losers win. Cowboys and Patriots, says Scarpad. Station, my man. How you doing? Great show last night on Dylan's Horror Show. We talked last night about Alice, Sweet Alice. Had a really great conversation that turned kind of sour towards the end when Dylan really let us feel how he feels about covering Us this upcoming week, but it is what it is. Mars Comics is in the house. Kilted Corgi's in the house. Road Collecting. Check that whiskey under some black light. Why? I was going to say, does it have blood jizz in there or something? I don't know. It's like the fucking Kevin Smith 14-year-old still inside of me. All right, what's going to appear on the channel? Well, first of all, tomorrow night, we continue Horror Fest 2022 with a look at the classic film, The Changeling. This is from 1980, starring George C. Scott. Really excited for this. Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, join us for our Episode 6 review and discussion on She-Hulk. This is the thumbnail that the awesome, magnificent Manny made for us, excuse me, last Thursday. But we always have a lot of fun with these conversations, regardless of what we feel about the episodes. And then on Dylan's Horror Show, on Saturday night, we'll be talking about Us by Jordan Peele, a movie that Dylan does not like, and a movie that I love. So this is going to be an interesting conversation. So tomorrow night, The Changeling on PCP Movie Night for Horror Fest. The She-Hulk review and discussion on Thursday night. And then we got Dylan's Horror Show, Us, Saturday night. Now, I will be at the Memphis Comic Expo this weekend. So first of all, if anybody's going to be there, I'll be there bumbling around if you see me, because after Heroes Con, and Heroes Con was great. A lot of people came up, they wanted to say what's up and all that kind of stuff. Some people told me like, oh man, I wish I would have got a picture. I was too nervous to ask. If you see me at the con, like straight up, say what's up. I'd love to chat with you for a moment, and if I have no problems taking photos and shit like that. So if you see me, say what's up, please. But even though I'm going to be in Memphis, we're going to try to cut out a little bit early on Saturday, get to the hotel, get checked in, get set up for Dylan's Horror Show live from our hotel room at the Memphis Comic Expo. But I'm very excited. It's a good lineup. We got Scott Snyder there. We got Greg Capullo there. Let's see here. I'm looking something up real quick. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yeah. All right. So, what was I saying? Oh, Scott Snyder's going to be there. Greg Capullo's going to be there. I've met Scott Snyder. Very excited to meet Greg Capullo. I'm pumped for that. James O'Barr's going to be there. Very pumped for that. Mark Wade's going to be there. Ron Mars is going to be there. Dan Brereington's going to be there. I'm stoked for that. Kevin Nolan's going to be there. I'm stoked for that. Dennis Cowan's going to be there. I'm stoked for that. So, Leona Kangas is going to be there. I'm stoked for that. So, we're going to have a good, fun time. So, if you see us, shout us out. Say what's up. Let's stop. Let's talk. We're going to have a great time. How about them comic books? What, last week? They're all right. Mark says, cheers, mate. I've got the first 30 issues as I carried on buying FF, but considered getting the rest and reading it in one sitting. I might get it and see how I feel about the whole run. Well, if you're already 30 issues in, bro, you almost might as well. Guilty Corey says, as a boys fan from way back, preseason, reg season, don't matter. It's all about the big dance. It is, but it's always nice to win on any given Sunday. That game got stressful. Like the opening of the game, I was like, this is awesome. You know, I had me a sandwich. I had me some spicy ramen, and I was like going, man. I was like, this is awesome, man. I'm having, this is cool. First 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and like I'm all down, and it's cool, man. And then we let them come back. And we looked pretty anemic in the second half. And then luckily we were able to piece it together there at the end, get the field goal and win. So I'm just excited. I hope your team won. Some crazy games. I actually caught some of the, I caught the tail end, not the tail end, but like the last 2 quarters, like the last half then. We got to reduce it down. I caught like the last half of the Dolphins-Ravens game, and that was fucking crazy. Like the Dolphins got 28 points in the fourth quarter to win. Like, holy cow. They came down by they were down by 3 touchdowns. Just saw Arizona wrap up a comeback win in overtime with a fumble recovery run into touchdown against the Raiders. So, lots of craziness happening in the league today. And I saw that the damn Giants won again. Them pesky Giants. Guilty Corgi says, I enjoyed She-Hulk Fight Me. I enjoy She-Hulk. I do. Honestly, I think we're all enjoying it. Nobody's really... The lowest scores it's gotten has probably been like a 2 or something. I don't know. Maybe Jelani went wild one night, but... It would seem like Jelani's the one that likes it the least. But I think overall we kind of enjoy it for the most part. But we have a lot of nuanced conversation about it. William says, Robbie needed today's win since my team will thump them next week. You Giants fan. That's going to be Monday night. That's going to be during Horror Fest. All right. Hope it goes good. Sinner thinks Us is not horror. All right. I disagree. Have you reviewed Kevin Smith's Tusk? No, we have not, Atomic Buzzard. It was on the Horror Fest poll for this year. And it did a really good showing. It wound up in like 3rd place behind Sleepaway Camp in the winner, which was Green Room. But as far as Tusk goes, I really liked the first half of that movie, and then I didn't like the second half of that movie when I first watched it. See, Atari says, what are you drinking tonight? Just drinking whiskey, just Maker's Mark, just normal Kentucky whiskey. Can't wait for... Oh, yeah, the X... You're going to reverse Amoeba. You're going to be at the Memphis Comic Expo. Hell yeah, man. Very excited. I'm super pumped. It's a really great lineup. They had a good lineup the last time I was there, which was 2019. But this is a fantastic... I'm so pumped to meet Dan Barrington and James O'Barr. I've never met them. I've never met Greg Capullo. And I'm excited to see Scott Snyder again. I'm excited to see Mark Waid again. I already got my Kingdom Come sign. I guess I'll get some Fantastic Four stuff signed from him. I have to actually start doing that. I haven't done that yet. I haven't picked out what I was going to get. Like, I do have this Outsiders Annual for Kevin Nolan to sign. I got to find a few more things, maybe. I'm going to get my Nocturnals hardcovers for Dan. And then for Capullo, I got some things that Snyder's already signed that he's done, so I'm going to get him to sign those. And get him to sign some Spawn work, right? And what else? I don't know. I'm going to have to go through and really dig out some things and find some stuff. William says, anyone can go to Robbie and tell him how about those Cowboys. Yes, you can. They'll feel good this week. Because last week was rough. And I thought it was over. Like, completely. It probably still is. We should have won that game with the way we played in that second half, but we wound up winning, and I'm happy about it. The discussion of Jordan Peele's Us on DHS will be epic. I hope so. I really, really like that movie, and he really, really doesn't. Best FF run, that's easy, Trenton. That's the Jack Kirby Stan Lee run. Right behind that, I would go John Byrne. And then after that, I would go Jonathan Hickman. Then after that, I would go Mark Waid. Then after that, I will go Tom DeFalco, Paul Ryan for the win. But the Walt Simonson run's sweet, too. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Robbie, will John Byrne be there? No, unfortunately not. That would be really cool. Brother Joe's in the house. That's why you're the king of pop culture, Robbie, because you got your finger on the pause of this community. The pulse or the pause. Either or. Is DC really gonna license their characters? That's so stupid. Marvel might as well buy some of them. No, they're not. This is a rumor that happens every 6 months. And it's been happening every 6 months for a long, long time. Closest that's ever happened was... I think it was like the very tail end of the 70s or the earliest of the 80s before DC did the nice turnaround in the mid-80s. But that was the lowest it ever got where it was actually consideration. But all of that's usually just rumors made up by, comic journalists to get views and clicks, I think. Taki says, I hated the ending of Tusk. It reminds me of Kevin Smith's movie career. Damn, that's cold. Don't hold back, bro. Don't hold back. But thank you, Brother Joe, for the kind words. Appreciate it. We got Eric in the house. What is up? Trade paper dad. How about my Cowboys? Hell yeah, man. Reverse Amoeba said Starlin had to cancel, but even without him, the lineup is great. I almost forgot that he was supposed to be there. Yeah, he did cancel, and so did somebody else cancel. I don't remember. Still going to be a good lineup. Get some Spawn signed by Greg Capullo. Absolutely. I'm thinking about his first issue or looking through and maybe the Santa issues, like one of my favorites. But I also got my metal hardcover that Scott signed, so I want to get that signed by him too. And I got my Last Night on Earth #1 that Scott signed that I want to get him to sign too. And then I want to get something obviously for both of them to sign new. So I might bring Death Metal or something. Do I have a Death Metal hardcover? I don't think I do. I think I just got those issues. Maybe I need to get that hardcover. Noah Brown, congrats on finding a #1 receiver. Well, here's the thing. Noah Brown didn't seem so hot last week, but last week there was a lot of stuff going on. This week, though, here's the thing. Zeke looked good at first, then kind of got tired and slowed up. Pollard had some moments, right? The offensive line right now for Cincinnati is not, I think, the best. I mean, Joe Burrows keeps... Or is it Joe Burrows? Burrows keeps getting sacked. And, Micah had a couple or 2 or 3 sacks today or something like that. And he was getting gobbled up. And so their offensive line's not protecting him, and then their line's not doing much against our offensive line. And I don't know. I'm not thinking that this is... I'm not going to overreact and be like, oh, dude, Cowboys are clear sailing now. No, not at all. It's rough. But Noah works with Cooper in that practice squad a lot, so they do have a little bit more chemistry, probably. But there were some good moments I really liked seeing. I was really enjoying it. Never been to a Comic-Con to CGC. Show up to all of them. Not to all of them. Sometimes you'll have them there. Sometimes you'll have them in CBCS. And sometimes you'll have just one or the other. But it all depends usually on the event organizer and who they want to attract there, as far as the companies go. But at most of the ones I go to, they're there in some form or fashion. After DC's new Dawn event, how many new titles do you think they will come out with? 52? I don't know. I have no idea. And I see a lot of people are thinking that this is some kind of like New 52-esque reboot or whatever, and there's very little information about what's actually happening post-Dark Crisis, but I would expect some relaunches. I would expect some new teams on books. I would expect a focus on more classic interpretations of certain of these characters based on the art we've seen by Dan Mora. I think that a lot of people that I think we're focused in right now on Legacy with Dark Crisis, and I think that's this Legacy is showing us the importance of like the 7, almost, if you will, right? And I think that we're getting what's the difference between this and New 52 and Rebirth and the post-crisis stuff in the 80s or the 1 year later stuff after Infinite Crisis? What's the difference? Nothing. There's Julie Schwartz, I think, said one time, every 10 years, you got a new readership. You got to kind of almost retweak things and make things fresh and new feeling for new people to jump in. And that's why DC does that so often. But it's just one of their company tenets, right? So I like it. It refocuses the brand, refocuses the line, and we get a new influx of energy. And right now, I don't think DC's lacking in energy. I think they're actually, between the big two, the top dog right now as far as just content and quality of that content. However, everybody's got their own opinions because it's all subjective. I do think that both DC and Marvel are getting their asses kicked by a lot of great titles out in the other realms, smaller publishers, things like that. Scout, Image, sometimes Boom. Boom's on a decline, but they still got some good books. IDW's got some good stuff going on right now with their IDW originals. They got 2 really good books out right now, so both DC and Marvel need to step up. I'll tell you that. But I always like these kind of refocuses and shifts of direction. We'll see what happens. There'll be some good, some bad, and some ugly. That's just the way it is. But how many titles? I don't know. Probably a lot of Batman titles. But as far as the core line, there'll be like, 2 Superman books, 1 Wonder Woman book, 2 Batman books for core stuff. Maybe an Aquaman book. There'll be a Justice League book. Maybe a JSA. Well, we know there's going to be a JSA. It's Jeff Johns. I don't know, 15 to 20 probably in that line, but there's going to be other books that are not part of the line, right? Like DC Black Label and young adult stuff and things like that. So, Elseworlds. We're returning to the Infinite Earths era. Basically, what we're returning to is what existed pre-Crisis, the original Crisis, which is Infinite Earths. No strict rules on just a 52 universe, multiverse, 52 universe multiverse, or anything like that. So that's where I think we're going, but I don't really know yet, so we'll see. Robbie, any idea what the upcoming Miles Morales Spider-Man run will cover? I just started the current run digitally. No, I don't. I know that it will probably just it's Cody Ziegler's coming on to it, so he'll be bringing his perspective, his views, his ideas, and he'll tweak it. We'll see. As far as the direction of the book, I don't know, but I do like seeing that it's a return to the classic costume. That's got me pumped. Yeah, you're right. Never say never. You're right. I shouldn't. Ty Templeton, that was the other one that canceled. Thank you, William. Hey, Bueller's in the house. Station Comics with Bueller. How are you doing? Unfortunately, I had to skip the first 5 today because I forgot to set it up because the Blu-rays weren't there, and I knew what I was going to do, but they're in the other room. And I just don't want to do a weird bit where I like have to leave and come back to do the first 5 because I feel like once I leave, we're done with the first bit, and it's kind of over. But anyway, Bueller, how you doing, buddy? Hope everything's going well for you out there on the road. Hope you're enjoying life, brother. JT in the house, what is up? CBCS needs to stop doing cons and search for those missing comics, says William. Dyslegacy? Is that even a word? You should coin that term. Let's try it. Bueller in Texas. Well, one thing I've learned about Bueller's secret to his travels is that when it's winter, he's going to be in the south, where it's milder. And when it's summer, he's going to be up north, where it's milder. That sounds like a good plan, bruh. Bueller says, James, I was in Texas earlier this year. Won't make it back until next year. 10 and 4 sounds good. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. What about Justice League Dark? Think they will bring that back? I don't know. I think they could. I think there's some good writers that could take it over. I think Dan Waters would do a great job with it. I think Alex Packnadel would do a great job with it. I'm drinking it with ice tonight. Sometimes you just want cold whiskey. Plus, it's just Maker's Mark, so it's like not that big of a deal, right? Is Ice Cream Man the pick of the week? It might be, BJ. Every time an Ice Cream Man's out, it's always a potential pick of the week. I'll tell you that. If the talent pool doesn't get any deeper, or if DC doesn't offer more money, which seems unlikely, how could it be? How could what be? Where are we at? We're on the DC stuff? How could what be? Are you excited for a probable DCEU Constantine / Constantine 2? I had that written down, this Constantine movie thing. So they're bringing back Keanu Reeves to play Constantine again and a sequel to the movie from whenever that was. That's so weird to me. That seems so weird. And I saw so many people excited about it, which puzzles me because I don't like that movie, but I'm also I don't know I've only ever seen the movie one time, right? I watched it the one time and I did not like it, but I was not liking the idea of this movie. I don't like the idea of a non-British Constantine. I don't think that makes sense to me. And that's not what I want to see. So I didn't like the movie when I first saw it, and nobody I went and saw the movie with liked it. Then all of a sudden, in the last few years, people start liking this Constantine movie. It's like a cult favorite. People love this movie, and all of a sudden, Warner Brothers decides, sure, let's do a Constantine 2 movie with Keanu Reeves, 20 years later. I don't understand the decision-making process, but we'll see what happens. And, maybe I need to rewatch Constantine. Maybe there's something there that I missed because I was too held on to the idea of a British Constantine. So there you go. Bueller's in New York. Hell yeah, brother. Oh, yeah, I guess you're going to be at New York Comic Con? So I guess you're going to be in that area for a while. Name changes says, Maker's Mark is expensive where I'm at. Bueller says he'll be back in Florida maybe at MegaCon next year. Thinking about going to MegaCon next year. The problem is it's right before Heroes Con, so those are two big shows. See, Spelios trying to get me to go there. Life is Good says Constantine 2 is coming, so supposedly there's hope. Is Warner Brothers on sale again? I've heard some stuff going on, little shaky things, but I'm not sure what's going on there. I do like Knob Creek as well. They're good, just kind of like average, just every day or every other day sipping whiskeys, right? I'm not an expert on whiskey, right? Like I've always been more of a beer drinker, but I was like, I'm trying to. I got these like cool glasses, so I was like, hey man, I like these. The crystal, I like it. Watch it in the context of most of it, in the context of most of the stuff that comes out these days, and it gets better. Makes sense. That one Eric says, I'd take a Point Break sequel over a Constantine one if Keanu's in it, but I'm not mad at a Constantine sequel either. I would love a Point Break sequel if Catherine Bigelow directed it. However, we don't have Patrick with us anymore, so that would be a bittersweet thing. Brother Joe says, not a high roller. Give me a big bottle of Jim Beam. Why do some of y'all think Maker's Mark is high dollar? This is not. Top 5 whiskeys? I don't really drink a lot of whiskey. So, okay. The whiskeys that I drink the most would be Maker's Mark, Knob Creek, and Jelani got me into Knob Creek. I like Maker's Mark. I love Jameson, and I love Bushmills. Those are Irish whiskeys. And, Jack Daniels, I guess, is fine. I don't drink that on its own, though. That's like, I don't know, if it's like Jim Beam or Jack Daniels, it's like with like maybe, I don't know, like cola or something, but I haven't had like a whiskey and Coke since probably my 20s, man. Here we go. Brian's here. Brian's a whiskey snob. The only American bourbon I really like is Blanton's. I always preferred Scotch, says Brian. So there you go. I think they felt it was safer direction than a J.J. Abrams take. Now, I feel you there. I need to rewatch as well. Should Keanu try a British accent? I have seen Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula enough to know that, no, Keanu Reeves should not try a British accent. Oh, Comics by the Bay, you're hurting me. I was so happy about the Cowboys winning today, and you got to remind me that my Auburn Tigers got absolutely destroyed by Penn State yesterday. Destroyed. Destroyed. Oh my goodness. It was terrible. It was a terrible game. Like the first quarter, I was like, okay. Then like everything, oh, this is not looking good, man. I wasn't even watching it like at the end, man. I was just like, I was done. So thank you for reminding me about that. Show us those Chuckies behind you. All right. Well, this is my NECA Chucky. I've got the pie face head on him because I love Child's Play 3. So there's that. These NECA figures are really nice. And, it seemed weird to get the small ones because they're like near the same pro. Why won't it focus on the damn toy? Oh, there we go. Well, it was that. Don't you love watching these YouTube streams where it's just a bunch of like 40-year-old men trying to get their camera to focus on their toys? Anyway, so there's that. This is just my Blu-ray box set of all the movies. With a lenticular slip, though. So that's pretty cool. Pretty neat, I guess. That's just the box that this comes in. And this is my Child's Play 3 Pop. I believe it was a Walmart exclusive, but once again, it's Child's Play 3. It's the pizza face. I just love that bit because when he gets that part of his face cut off and he's just like, his reaction is so over the top. Brad Dourif's the GOAT, man, as far as voice acting goes in horror. So there you go. May I suggest... What? If you want to try a Scotch good stuff. What? Woodford Reserve. Now, I've heard a lot about that. In fact, I've been getting a lot of ads on YouTube about Woodford Reserve. I guess they're noticing I'm buying whiskey. Nora Wolf says, are you a Woodford Reserve fan? I live right down the road from where it's made. I don't know if I've ever had it. So I was looking at that the other day. Comics by the Bay says, let's go Gators. That's fine. That's fine. It was a rough one, man. If it happened to y'all, I'd say the same thing. Sinner says Constantine's actually a good movie, especially for a DC movie. They only have a short list. Well, someone's not a fan of DC. Robbie, show us those Chuckies behind you, bro. I already did. I think Blanton's overrated somewhat. All right. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the DC sneak peek. DC's got comics this week. Guess what? I've read them, and I'm going to let you know what I thought about them. All right, first up, and we're going to go in the Sleepy Reader 666 way from the one I enjoyed the least to the one I enjoyed the most. The one I enjoyed the least was Batman One Bad Day, Two-Face, #1. Another one of these $8 one-shots, 80 pages. The idea is to have top writing and artistic talent tell Killing Joke-style stories for the other Batman villains. To flesh out these villains, kind of retell their origin or recast it in a different light, but do something also that is set firmly in continuity, that is a game-changing moment for that character. For instance, in Batman the Killing Joke, the Joker kidnaps Gordon. He paralyzes Barbara Gordon. He shoots her, which causes some paralysis. It was a big deal, and it also shed a whole new light on his origins. So in the Riddler one, we had the Riddler doing this thing where he basically scared all of Gotham into letting him do whatever he wants because they're so scared of him, and it recontextualized some stuff about his past. So they tried to do that here. So it's written by Mariko Tamaki, and for the most part, it's okay. There are some decisions that I don't like. I hate it when they do these really frivolous and trite things, like things that should be big moments for Harvey, like Harvey getting well and being more accepted into society again. That should be like a long, hard road, a journey that we're a part of. But they always just do it so suddenly in these books, just so they have a plot point to work out or something. So there's some decisions in here that I didn't really like. Ultimately, I didn't really like how it wound up because it was really obvious where we were going. And so, I don't know. I didn't really like it there. The artwork is by Javier Fernandez. The line work is astounding. But Jordi Belair's colors get way too murky and dark, and they make it not pop at all. And it does try to bring some kind of an atmosphere to it, but graphically it just didn't do anything for me because of that. So the artwork didn't really work for me. The line work was there, but I would have liked a little bit of a different approach to the coloring. So then we got Duo, issue number 5. This book is super solid. It's not like going out of its way to be the best comic ever, to try to be innovative or reprogram the genre or anything like that. But it is just telling a really good, compelling story about these two characters, their connection to each other. It's got a cool sense of vibrancy about it. And it starts raising stakes issue to issue. So this is issue 5, and I'm enjoying it. And like I said, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it is rather enjoyable. Same thing here with Flash. Flash 786, which is a Dark Crisis tie-in. In the last issue of Dark Crisis, I think maybe it's the next issue of Dark Crisis, which I've already read, and I kind of get them mixed up. But at one point in Dark Crisis, they kind of split everybody up, and they have people focusing on different areas of the globe, all the different crises that are erupting. And the Flash family is kind of out there on the foreground, on the forefront. Yeah, out there on the forefront, kind of getting everything set up and ready for when the heroes come in. Anyway, that's kind of what it is. So it does kind of jump all over the place. There's some really interesting bits at the end. There's a certain character who says certain things to Wally West that I really liked to see. I'd love to see more of that focused in on. But other than that, the artwork was just okay. It kind of felt weirdly laid out in parts, but the story flowed. It was decent enough, but it's kind of weak compared to other Flash issues. Then we got Black Adam issue number 4. I really liked this issue. So initially, I didn't necessarily like this series because I didn't know if I necessarily liked the introduction of this new character who I guess is White Adam or whatever. But I'm into this character now, right? And I'm vibing with him, and I like his story in this issue. But there's also the Black Adam stuff, where when he reverts to human form, which in every Black Adam comic I've read, and I've only been reading Black Adam in comics, I don't know, I guess since like the JSA days of like Jeff Johns, right? So like, I don't know what's come before and all that kind of stuff, but like, I don't usually see him in his alter ego very much. So seeing him like that, it kind of took me off guard, and I just didn't know where the story was going or how it's structured. It takes it to another kind of level where it progresses the story here. And, you know, Christopher Priest, he's one of those writers where he likes to play with structure. And sometimes you have to work for it. Sometimes you have to wait for it. And it's a challenging read sometimes. But I'm starting to really appreciate it. And I think it's ironing itself out. Then we got Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, issue number 2. Great issue. Tom Taylor doing this alternate take. It's kind of like, I've said this many times. I'll say it again. What could easily have just been DC's version of Marvel Zombies is actually a rather nuanced, tragic, hopeful, and optimistic tale about humanity, even though it's just about superhumans, right? But basically what's going on in this third and final giant volume of Deceased is that the new gods have been infected with the anti-life, right? And they're now going from planet to planet, just destroying it. So they're here on Sinestro's planet, but we also got some really cool developments with our characters on New Earth. Really like it. Trevor's artwork is solid, and the writing is solid too. And this was way better than the first issue. I thought it was really good. Surprisingly enough, I really enjoyed the Harley Quinn 30th anniversary special. I'm not the hugest Harley Quinn fan, but there have been certain runs recently, in particular the White Knight stuff, and even the Joker Harley Criminal Sanity story, like where Harley's kind of done in a different way or a different approach, where I actually kind of like the character. So just like all those other anniversaries, this is a one-shot comic. It's $10, and it's got a bunch of creators, past and present, from Harley Quinn, doing short stories. But they all, for the most part, worked. So there's one by Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti and Chad Hardin. So that was a very popular run in the New 52. And that was a fun story. If you like that run, you're going to like it. There was a story by Raphael Scavone and Raphael Albuquerque, and I actually liked that story a lot. So Stepan Sejic did one that involved Catwoman. That was pretty solid. How to Train Your Hyena was from the current team of Stephanie Phillips and Riley Rosmo. Then we had Criminal Sanity, which is Cami Garcia and Miko Suawan, and that is it was like a little prequel to the Criminal Sanity book that I did really like. Siren Soiree, that's by Paul Dini and Gilliam March. This is a throwback to their Gotham City Sirens days, and that was my favorite one in this whole bit. Sam Humphries did one with Erica Henderson called A Legend is Born. That was probably one of the weaker ones. Along with Rob Williams and John Timms did one called The Last Harley Story, and the story's okay. You kind of get where it's going, but the artwork was really good. Troop Harley Quinn by Cecil Castellucci and Dan Hipp. That was cute. It's kind of all-agey. And then Harley's World, which was by Mindy Lee and Terry Dodson, kind of throwing back to the Terry Dodson run. I liked it. If you're a Harley Quinn fan, this is a must-read. And one of the things I really liked about it is usually they have these pinups in here. They didn't have any extra pinups, but they do have the pinups of the covers, all the variants. So all the variant covers are here on the interior, and I thought that was a really nice touch. Next up, Nightwing, issue number 96. This was fantastic. One of the best comics I read this week so far, and all I've read so far is DC. But this was great. So it does finish this whole blockbuster Dick Grayson fight kind of thing in Bloodhaven. It wraps all that up, and it does it in a very majestic, superb, and masterful way. The artwork by Bruno Redondo is ridiculously awesome, and I think some of the series' best and some of the best coloring in a comic I've read in a long time was right here in the pages of Nightwing. This popped, and it was a very satisfying conclusion, and I'm really 100% back on board with that for sure. But my favorite DC book I read was actually Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 7. This introduces a new character who comes from an alternate reality, but his backstory is very reminiscent of Clark's backstory with his parents dying on Krypton. But it was really fun. You've got Dan Mora on the artwork, Tamara Bonvillain on the coloring. It popped. The story was great. Mark Waid does this. It's still set in that Silver Age era, but it works, and it's introducing a new character, probably so that Mark Waid can play with them in something else. But I really like this book, and this book has strengthened. I feel like at first it was kind of a bit overstuffed and rather unfocused, but right now it's hyper-focused and very streamlined. So I liked it. So to recap, World's Finest, absolutely splendid. Nightwing, absolutely splendid. Harley Quinn, 30th anniversary, very surprising. I really like that. Deceased was awesome. Then we got Black Adam was very compelling. And then The Flash was decent. It was aight. Then Duo was decent. It was aight. And this Two-Face One Bad Day. I'm glad each one of these has a different writer and a different artist. Because these last two for me have been rough. Anyway, that's been your DC Sneak Peek. All right, let's take a look at the chat. We got Empire Comics in the house. Station. Tari says, whiskey is bad. Brandy and wine is where it's at. All right. Knew that pronunciation was going to be rough. Lafroig? Lafroig? Lafrog. I'm going to go to the liquor store. Like, do you have that Lafrog? Price on the One Bad Day book is $8. Belair is usually on point, bummer. Yeah, I agree. The thing is, Jordi Belair, the coloring has shifted on some of her books. And now I'm sure that probably looks good on a screen that's backlit. But it did not work on that printed page. And if the colors would have popped a little bit more on that page, and I don't know, maybe she doesn't know what she's printing on. I don't know. Jordi Belair is one of the best colorists in the business, so she should know what's going on. But, you see that problem sometimes with Dave Stewart, There's big inconsistency in paper quality and printing right now, so I'm not going to blame everything on her, I guess. I'm sure it looked good on her screen, but it was rather dark and murky. I don't know. And I read with the light on, so. But I did not like that one. I'm going to tell y'all. I'm excited to read some of the other ones, though. We were just talking about the Catwoman one by G. Willow Wilson and Jamie McKelvey. I think that's a cool team for that. Spilio says, Priest is a great writer, just sometimes structure is a challenge. Absolutely. To me, the new Black Adam feels like they are trying to make him a Miles Morales. The character feels different to me, but I get maybe where you're going there. Ouroboros says, loving Rock Adam. We got Ace in the house. What is up? Looney Tunes is the best DC book this week. Well, I haven't been reading that one, Comics by the Bay. Spilio says, World's Finest is a fantastic read. William DeFriend, I'm glad I didn't decide to go along with the One Bad Day series. Well, the cool thing is, if one of them pops, I'll let you know, and you can just get the ones that are good. So far, 0 for 2. Thankfully, my Cowboys aren't 0 for 2. Wade is just so reliable. He might not be a Mount Rushmore writer, but he's Hall of Famer for sure. Absolutely. I tried Conor McGregor's whiskey. It's not bad. Any chance of reviewing all the episodes of Ash vs. Evil Dead and Freddy's Nightmares TV series? Maybe one day. That would be a fun thing to do. Loving what DC is doing, Batman and Robin and the World's Finest. I agree. Should Wade get more of an executive creative position? I'd rather him just keep writing dope comics. JT says, Robbie saved me $8. Well, let's show y'all something. There are moments where some of the colors do work, maybe. Okay? Because I literally just opened up on a page that was pretty decent, but it's all... I don't mind monochromatic, but there are moments where I can't tell what's going on necessarily. I don't know. I'm just trying to... I think people are going to disagree, but on this page, do you see how dark some of that is? And I get it, Batman's in the dark, but it's really... That's Gordon standing there, and I can't freaking see him. But I don't know. That's just me. It's very murky. There's some good choices, but it's just I think that it's too dark for it. That probably looks way better on a screen. Yeah, let's just say that. All right, Ariaga is in the house. What is up? Sinner says, how do you know you won't like it if you didn't get it? Just because Rob doesn't like it doesn't mean you won't. I think what JT is saying that he... I I think JT and me probably have similar tastes. Or like if I don't like something or if I do like something, maybe that's the case. And maybe that's why he trusts me. But I'm pretty sure he'll go to his shop and flip through it for himself and see what his split second decision will be. All right, we're going to be back here in just a moment. When we come back, we'll be When we come back, we'll be talking about Cobra Kai Season 5, Fantastic Four Full Circle, and Escape from New York here on Rockin' Robbie Live.
Hi everybody, come join us here at the Experience this Monday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We just got all this new commission cover art from Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. We're going to have these two on Monday. We got the Penguin and the Green Goblin, and Mariano himself is going to be here coloring them live. It's going to be so cool. You guys can ask him questions. You can see how the process is done. It's really going to be a cool show. So come join us, the whole gang, here at the Experience, Monday, September 19th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see ya.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. This is Rockin Robbie Live, the show where we talk about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. I want to say that you should join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, you might as well follow Pop Culture Philosophers there. We're also on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. We appreciate all the support, but just being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, super chatting, which triggers a Joker video, all that is support, but just being here, participating in the conversation, that's all we need. Find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. There's also merch there and all kinds of stuff like that. What's coming up here on the channel tomorrow night? We continue Horror Fest 2022 with a look at The Changeling, 1980 ghost story, basically, starring George C. Scott. Very excited for that conversation. We got the She-Hulk Episode 6 review and discussion Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, and Dylan's horror show, Us, on Saturday night. And I will be broadcasting live from our Memphis hotel, because I will be at the I will be at the Memphis Comic Expo this Saturday and Sunday. So if you're there in the area, if you're at the show and you see us, say what's up. In fact, I see Nick from Comic Culture in the house right now. I know Nick's going to be there on Saturday, so I'm excited to see you, buddy. Hang out, do some back issue diving or something. Who knows? Got a great guest list, and I'm super excited. Could you ever give up physical comics? Atari? No. Easy answer. So this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. However, tonight, in this bit, we're going to be talking about Cobra Kai Season 5. We'll be talking about Fantastic Four Full Circle. And we'll be talking about Escape from New York. William says Changeling is a sad film. It is a sad film. It's an exploration on grief. And as Dan Waters said when he was here on the show, ghosts always mean trauma. Nick says, Robbie, my man, I'll see you there. Yeah. Mark says, can't wait to read about Superman's sidekick Boy Thunder and see if Clark's brief stint as the Nova is referenced. Dan Waters, friend of the show. Anyway. How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a good day. I see that Green Bay and Chicago are playing. Chicago's up 7-3 at halftime. That's interesting. Well, you know, the talk all week was, is Aaron Rodgers' time over? Which was the same talk we had last year after the week one, and the same talk we had, like, I saw a meme where it was like, week one is just a bye week for Aaron Rodgers. Like, he always loses. But to be that far down right now, we'll see what happens. Hey, Spilio with the Super Chat Station. For missing you the last month, glad to be back, my friend. I'm so glad you're here, John, and I'm so proud of you and happy for you, and I love you. Thank you for the Super Chat, my man. And yes, don't forget that one more day has been added to my Memphis Comic Expo appearances. We'll be there on the 24th and the 25th. Hey, oh, let me tell you about this little man I know. How about them Cowboys? He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters like Venom. And he fights with a man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with a fire starter named Bowser. And an ectoplasmic mess named Johan. BPRD, yeah! Thanks so much for the super chat, Spillio. Really helps us out here at the channel. A says, my copy of Full Circle turned up today. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, but totally keen. Yeah, we'll be talking about that here in just a little bit. Maybe even doing a little flipsy. You know, you never know. Trying something new tonight with the comic book review. This is my fancy-ass Maker Smart. It's a fancy glass. Most I've ever spent on a glass, I'll be honest with you. I liked it, though. I got 2 of them. It's cool, though. Anyway, what's up? When's the next monthly comic review? I don't know, Nick. I don't know. I thought we'd do one at the end of this month, but then I was like, man, I'm going to be in Memphis this week. And then there was even a part of me that was like, maybe we should just not do one until 2023. But that wouldn't be fair to anybody. I bet we could sneak it in on the 30th. Because we will have one more week. I bet we can sneak it in on the 30th. It'll be a Friday night. That might be the best time to do it. But, fuck it. Let's see. What does that day work for you, Nick? You let me know. Does the 30th work for you? You let me know. And then we can fill in the rest. And get some people to join us. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the next bit. This is going to be as spoiler-free as I can make it. But we'll see what happens. However, we're about to be talking about Cobra Kai Season 5. There may be some slight spoilage that comes through depending on how you determine the severity of spoilage. But let's do it. It's time to talk about Cobra Kai Season 5. Cobra Kai Season 5 here way quicker than we thought we would get it. We went from waiting too long for Cobra Kai to just having it appear out of nowhere. Took me by surprise. So last Sunday, I watched the first 4 episodes. And then on Friday, I sat down to watch a couple more. And I watched the final 6. I love this show. There is no show that I can binge, like no current modern show that I binge except for this show. I cannot stop watching Cobra Kai. This show blows me away. Blows me away. I absolutely love it. It is way better than it has any right to be. Because, as figure drawing is saying, it does have some cheese to it. It is so cheesy, but at the same time, it is so earnest. And I love the show for that. This show compels me like crazy. So we kick off the season kind of dealing with the dangling thread of last season where Miggy is down in Mexico looking for his father. That story could have easily gone in weird, extra stretchy kind of directions, and it didn't. I actually liked it, and I thought it was a really solid story and great character growth for him, and I thought the performance was amazing. Then we got Johnny and Robbie going down there to get him. They get involved in this pepper eating competition, and anybody who's ever been involved in eating peppers, you know it ain't going to go down exactly like this, but it's nice to see these relationships get built. See, your story can be cheesy. It can be melodramatic, but if you have real characters with earnest connections, and you feel like it's coming across from an honest perspective, it really just works. Man, I love how Robbie and Miggy are trying to work out their differences, and the fighting in this season is some of the best fighting in Cobra Kai yet. It is absolutely top-notch, and once again, Cobra Kai is the best Power Rangers we've ever gotten. Terry Silver, come on. This was a lame villain in the worst Karate Kid movie until they made the next Karate Kid. And it always just kind of sat there as the bad movie of the three in the original, Daniel Miyagi Karate Kid trilogy. His performance and the writing on this show has elevated Karate Kid from disappointing finale to incredibly entertaining setup for the future. Terry Silver, the dude who plays him, kills it. His performance is amazing in this show. He's the best villain that Cobra Kai has had yet. I thought it was awesome. I loved his performance. There's a moment where him and Daniel throw down early in the season. Bruh. I fucking love it. I just recently watched Karate Kid 3. That movie blows. But this movie, this season of Cobra Kai made me want to rewatch that movie. By the way, Daniel gets his ass kicked. So then he has to get help from other people. Chosen and Johnny. The villains from Karate Kid 1 and 2 have to team up with Daniel to defeat the evil Terry Silver. But I love it. And it leads to some very interesting places and a spotlight on Chosen, who is my favorite character in Cobra Kai this season, even beating out Terry. And him and Johnny, when they're together, oh my goodness, it works. Plus, Johnny has some really great story developments here, especially involving his relationship with Carmen and how that's going to affect his relationship with Miguel and with Robbie. I really thought that stuff was well done. And Mike fucking Barnes, he's back. So over the top and cheesy in Karate Kid 3, just like everything was, but put here into a different light. I absolutely loved seeing him here. I just like, what else can they pull out? Also, we got John Kreese. Kreese is in prison, so we're getting this like PG-13 version of Oz, like from his perspective, and it's pretty good, and it's a nice thread that goes throughout the core of the season. Tori's one of my favorite of the younger cast of characters here. She is devastated because she feels like she didn't earn her trophy. She's wondering about her place in Cobra Kai. It's expanding, and Cobra Kai's never looked better. Like, everything looks so cool. I'm like, this is what I want my gym to look like. That would be freaking awesome. But she's also involved now with mentoring this young lady who we saw in the last season, and she's starting to have her doubts. So I really thought her story was engaging too. And they also focus in on this kid. I can't remember his name, but they're adding in these new characters that felt kind of almost out of place and stuffed in last season. They're developing them, maybe to the detriment of some of the other characters, but they're actually building these other characters up in the midst of already established characters. That being said, Sam, Hawk, even Sam's brother now is actually getting a little bit of a spotlight. So everybody gets a moment to shine here. There's a way less Hawk than I would like, honestly, but they've already kind of done a big arc with him, and they're just kind of settling him down and focusing in on these other characters. So they're tying in this thread. A throwaway line from Karate Kid 3 becomes this big thing that's going to flourish and blossom into the next season, I guarantee you, because Terry and Kreese, Silver and Kreese, were trained by this Korean master into this art that they wanted to teach out through Cobra Kai, and she is the granddaughter of him. She comes in with all these badass senseis to help him shape up, and then Stingray's back, and he's got a really interesting role, and probably the best role. Stingray's always been kind of a dumb character for me. There were some major tragic elements that happened though last season. They really play up on that very, very well. Plus, we get the love interest from Karate Kid 3 back, and she's actually Amanda's cousin. That's right, Daniel's wife's cousin is the chick from Karate Kid 3. So I thought that was a really nice tie-in because it also gave Amanda a big kind of moment to kind of shine and get in her own kind of trouble. I loved it though, man. I thought this was absolutely great. I loved seeing Daniel and Chosen and Amanda and Johnny and others come together to try to go up against Harry. It did not end the way I was expecting it to end. It had me at the edge of my seat. I couldn't stop watching it. I loved it. I thought it's one of the best seasons yet, but to be honest with you, I think they're all one of the best seasons yet. I love this damn show. I'm giving it a very enthusiastic 4.69, dudes. What do you give Cobra Kai Season 5? All right. Yeah, the schedule is clear that night so far. I have last month's book stacked up, still just waiting. Wife is watching this right now downstairs. Nice. If Cobra Kai was even 5% less cheesy, it would be a bad show. But it is a rad show and way over the top. It reminds me of Mexican soap operas. Terry is so dope. Hell yeah, figure drawing. Sinner says, damn, I don't even remember 3. 1 and 2 were classics, though. Had everyone join crappy Taekwondo. You're right. 1 and 2 are... I love 1 and 2. 3 is not a good movie. But what Cobra Kai is doing is it recontextualizes it now, man. So, like, I watched it right before... Last time I watched Karate Kid 3 was right before the last season of Cobra Kai. And now it's got me wanting to rewatch the whole franchise. This is, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This is the absolute best legacy-driven requel kind of thing, whatever. Like, where they want to have a new generation kind of redo the Karate Kid or redo a franchise and have the old characters in there. They do this all the time. Star Wars, Scream. We see it all over the place. Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Cobra Kai does it the best. It blends the two elements the best. It works. It works so freaking well, and it makes the shitty third Karate Kid movie better. Like, it does. Michael Ironside from Karate Kid 4 may possibly be in the next season. Now, I've heard... Scarpad was saying something like he heard that they were going to cancel it. Now, they're already working on season 6, so we're at least getting one more. Now, initially, they thought that they were going to get 5. This could have been a great ending. Nick Barucci came in on our show on the EXP on Monday and said, if it ended here, I would be happy with that. Right? Was pleasantly surprised that this season was a super cliffhanger. Yeah. Well, it could also just end there, and that would be compelling and cool. But they got something else to do, and we know what they're doing, and I'm excited. But we know it's over officially when Hilary Swank steps in. That's like the last episode of the show. It's Hilary Swank. She's going to be the what tips it over, right, to victory. Spilio says, nice review, my brother. Well, thank you. You were saying you were pleasantly surprised it wasn't a cliffhanger. Exactly. Well, there is a bit of a cliffhanger there, but just the tiniest one. Like, a lot kind of gets wrapped up, but at the same time, there's still a lot of story to tell. So I'm excited for that. There is a universe where YouTube didn't sell the show to Netflix. You're right. Billy and me finally agree on something. Hail Cobra Kai. Okay. Yeah, I love Cobra Kai. All right. How's everybody doing out there? If you've watched Cobra Kai season 2 or season 5, I'm curious, what do you rate it out of 5 you digs? No one's thrown in a rating yet. I'm very curious to know what you think about it. Ooh. And I also saw that somebody mentioned that the pack is now up. Yes, 710 Green Bay. So there we go. Figure drawing says 4.69, dude. My cat's over there sleeping. She's adorable right now. She's adorable. Two Gun Pedro says 4.5 you digs for Cobra Kai season 5. Hell yeah. I fucking love Cobra Kai. That show's so good. Like, I can't stop watching it. I had other things to do. I didn't watch the latest Ring of Power, which I did like episode 3 a lot. We talked about that. I didn't have a chance last week because of the Cowboys game to watch House of the Dragon, and I didn't get a chance all week long. So I still haven't watched last week's House of the Dragon. So I got tonight's and last week's to watch, and another Rings of Power. But I couldn't stop watching Cobra Kai. And plus I haven't even watched Twin Peaks in since Monday because I just can't. I had to watch Cobra Kai when I had the time. That's what I did. I haven't read a book. All I did was watch Cobra Kai with my free time this week because I had to rewatch Alice Sweet Alice for last night's Dylan's Horror Show. But I'm really glad that I did, honestly. It really elevated it in my mind. Billy says, Tenya digs. Eric says, I'm way behind on Cobra Kai, but the first 2 seasons were gigantic moronic splendor. By the way, those t-shirts are available now at our merch store. Find it at popculturephilosophers.com. Can I start watching this from the latest season? You could, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend starting from 1. It is a show that character development and growth plays a big, big part. I think you could probably still get into it, but you would appreciate it more in the long run having watched all of it. And I mean that saying that you'll appreciate this season more, but also at the same time, if you watched this season and enjoyed it and then went back and watched it, you would have wished that you would have just watched it from ground zero, basically. And they are quick watches, man. They fly by. They go by so quick. Poor Robbie, so far so backlogged. Yep. You know it, bro. We're all in perpetual backlog status, I find. Don't you agree, Bro Joe? All right. We're going to be talking about this book right here now. Fantastic Four, Full Circle. Let's dive in. Let's open it up. And let's check out what Alex Ross can do with the Fantastic Four and answer the question posed by many. Is this the best Fantastic Four story in decades? All right, so we're going to dive into this book, Fantastic Four Full Circle from Marvel Arts. It's part of Abrams' book. First thing you're going to notice, it's designed amazingly. It's got a dust cover that is super cool. I had some difficulty getting it out, so we had to cut it right there. But it's got this kind of double spread on it where it's the origin of the Fantastic Four. It's reminiscent of all the stuff Alex Ross did on Superman Peace on Earth and Batman War on Crime. We've seen a lot of that. The design on this book is amazing. It's striking as soon as you open it up. The front pages are great. The yellow really, really pops. And then we get into the artwork. So the first thing we got to talk about is the artwork because this is Alex Ross. We came here for the artwork. It's a bit of a different style. It's more penciled and kind of colored in, but it works. And it's a different kind of coloring style than we're used to from Alex Ross. The artwork is amazing. You're getting his typical splendid line work. You're getting lots of detail, lots of clutter, but at the same time, it's very beautiful, very dynamic. The flow of the energy in this book is fantastic. The coloring is great too. Some great choices. There are some moments where maybe the backgrounds kind of fuzz into the foreground, but that happens later. And throughout most pages of the book, the artwork has that pop art kind of sense, that style, that 60s Silver Age kind of flavor, including these homages to like Jack Kirby's collages and all that kind of stuff. But when the colors tweak, it's when they're in the negative zone. They get into some crazy wild zones. When I was looking at this page with the Nihilist, it took me a minute to kind of pull my perspective out to see the giant scope of what was going on. And that's what this story has, is it has scope. It has a sense of scale that Alex Ross is bringing to it. Look at those black light, like reflective type pages. An absolutely amazing book. Artistically, I love it. Story-wise, spot on. A classic Fantastic Four adventure. It's throwing back to old school Fantastic Four stuff, certain threads that were left maybe a little bit dangling. And they actually play them up, like certain characters from, say, This Man, This Monster, or other classic Kirby Fantastic Four books. They're kind of alluded to here, but there's also a play that it's in continuity, which I absolutely love because they also reference stuff from the Hickman run. So it feels fresh and it feels new, but it feels classic. And it's got that sense of wonder, that sense of sensational spectacle that we were talking about on Friday's show, and we were like, how do you make a good Fantastic Four movie? It's got the visuals, it's got the story, and all of the characters, they ring true. It is absolutely astonishing to me what Alex Ross was able to do with this book and make it feel absolutely fresh, yet classic at the same time. It's a wonderful package. This is a $25 hardcover. It's a one-and-done story, and it's the Fantastic Four. They go on an adventure. They go on this journey into the negative zone. They have conflict. They have a resolution, and then they go back. And it's so perfectly crafted as far as Fantastic Four stories and adventures should go. The personalities are all there. Reed is 100% like Reed. Sue is just like Sue. Johnny's Johnny, and Ben is Ben, and it's just such a fantastic thing. I think it is the best Fantastic Four book story I have read since Jonathan Hickman's run on Fantastic Four. It is that good. When I finished reading this book, I immediately thought to myself, should Alex Ross write Fantastic Four? Obviously, we're not going to get art from Alex Ross on a monthly book, but should he at least write it? Then I thought to myself, you know what? Would I be okay if they canceled the Fantastic Four, but I got one of these a year? Maybe, but at the same time, I got to have my monthly dose. I loved the book. I thought that this was great. You got to get this book. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're a superhero fan, if you're an Alex Ross fan, if you are a Fantastic Four fan, this is a must-have. I'm going to give that 4.5. Fuck. I'm going to give it 4.5, you digs. I almost wanted to go 4.44 just for the force sake of it. So let's just go with that. But this book is great. I highly recommend it. A must-read. You got to check it out. All right. That was me doing my best kayfabe. I hope you didn't mind it. I hope you liked it. Eric says, too much good stuff to stay caught up on everything. The backlog is real. Brojo says, yes. Eric says, oh snap, overhead cam time. Sinner says, Alex Ross has a YouTube channel. If you like the art, sign up. Figure Drawing says, gorgeous. Sinner says, wow, has a lot of poster look with all those poppy colors. Imagine how long it took to color. The coloring on this book is done by him and Josh Johnson. Now, I'm fairly certain it's not painted. I'm pretty sure it's digitally colored. But the colors are amazing. Like, even in the areas that are meant to be dark, we can still see everything because the proper color theory is applied. Oh my goodness. This book it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And it's just a great story. Now, I had a buddy who said that he read it and he's like, it just felt like a good issue of Fantastic Four. Yes. Felt like a great issue of like a Kirby Fantastic Four. That's the difference. Is that out this week? It came out like 2 weeks ago, actually. A lot of people are just now getting their copies because they have been selling out at distributors. Diamond doesn't have anymore. We've been getting our copies through other distributors. Our first initial wave, which we had the slipcases, there's a slipcase version that was like $45 or something. I had one of those ordered, but I gave it up to a friend so that he could get it, and I waited to get this one. And I'm glad I did, though. But I'm just glad I have it. I love this book so much. So much. It's available right now. You can find it on Amazon and other places. But all I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to scare anybody into rushing to pick it up. But I know a bunch of people are going to start making videos about this. And some already have. So if you get a chance, get it. Because like Diamond ain't going to get it. If your shop only deals with Diamond, your shop ain't going to get it for a bit here. But there are other distributors where you can get it from. But yeah. It's awesome. It could be painted and digitally colored. Well, I think one of the things that he was doing, and we'd have to ask Alex himself, but it's very, if you look at it, it's not painted. Because there's even like this like texture to the colors where it's like the dot method. You know what I'm saying? It's in there, but it's so freaking good. Now I'm sure he may have even done this the old school way where like you paint in the colors and then I don't know what the process is. I want to know though. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It doesn't look like his typical work. And Alex Ross didn't have to evolve a style at all, but he did. And that's a big deal. Road Collecting says, just got mine in the other day. I wonder how long it took to make. Yeah, probably took him a minute, but it's so good. But I don't know, at the same time, you know he can throw out a lot of this stuff quick. Atari says, comic book lovers are always in a perpetual catch-up state. You know it. That's just the way life is for a pop culture fan in general. So much art to consume and recontextualize. Right? A said, so it's a bit of delay because I had to pause the video. Dope review of Full Circle, though. Am pumped to read it. The colors remind me of Richard Corbin, but in pencil or something. Super vibrant. Yeah. It's so good. He has a video on it that I haven't seen yet. Nice. Thank you for pointing that out, Center. I'll have to definitely check that out. Very curious to hear what he's going to say. Now, I also know that Kayfabe's going to be doing a video on it soon. And I'm excited to see what they say. The only nitpick I would have, and it's the tiniest little things, there's just certain moments where maybe the colors don't pop as well. I mean, the colors still pop, but it doesn't differentiate from the background. That is literally just like, to me, a couple of instances. That's like when you're reading it like, well, is there anything wrong with this? I mean, is there anything wrong with it? You know, I mean, the story could be deeper. It could attempt to do more, but it doesn't. It just tries to do what it needs to do, which is tell a wondrous, spectacle-filled Fantastic Four story that is impeccable in its portrayal of the characters, the world, reverent to what's come before, but doing something different, but at the same time deeply rooted in Jack Kirby. Oh my God. This sounds like it's almost like that's what Fantastic Four should be. I don't know. There you go. It was great. Eric says, I think parts of this were for a pitch he made to Marvel for an FF redesign before the Fox movie reboot. I do remember when that was happening, when the Fantastic Four was dead in the water, they weren't being published, and he started releasing some of the stuff. You can tell because they're wearing new suits with that logo. He now has gotten the chance to redesign those suits, and he's doing the covers on the new Fantastic Four run. And I'm very excited for that, actually. But yes, I'm fairly certain a lot of this was this may have been his pitch for like an issue 1 or 2, actually. It's so gorgeous. It's so good. Like, can I even find one of those pages I was talking about where like maybe the background colors don't... Jesus, probably not. They're not here. Okay. No, not that page either. It's not that one. Yeah, I take all that back. 5 you digs. 5 you digs. That's a perfect score. I take all that back. That's just an artistic flow you can't change. The background, it will change the whole thing. There are things you can do to make... There are things you can do. But re-looking at it, I think it's fine for the most part. Figure Drawing says, like Alex Ross's pencils better than his painted stuff. One thing is, his painted stuff, when that style first came out, when we saw Marvels and then Kingdom Come, it just blew us all away. And then, yeah, you're right, his pencils are amazing too. His pencils are great. But you don't want him to just color on those shaded pencils. Like, he actually had a cleaner lines art like style that he uses here. But you can see that he's got some of his shading is in the color, but it's actually working. Unlike if you see something like when you see something like the way they're coloring Ramita and Hannah on Amazing Spider-Man right now, to me, is kind of atrocious. But here it works because there is modeling there, but where he would typically shade it is done in some of the color. And yeah, like the use of blue and yellow, two characters, the blue and the yellow, the way they pop, like that's color theory. That works. That's pop art too, and that works. And like it makes those figures really pop out there. The thing is, once we got used to his painting style, it kind of been like, okay, what can Alex Ross do that we haven't already seen? This. And that's what's really cool. Reverse Amoeba says, I loved Full Circle. I hope Ross does more one and done hardcovers like this. Me too. I hope he does more involving the Fantastic Four. I mean, it'd be cool to see some of his takes on other things, but I would love to see this just be a continuing thing. Looking through this book makes me want to reread Marvels. Absolutely. The Departure, exactly. Super refreshing. Yes. 100%. All right, we're going through John Carpenter films chronologically. And it leads us tonight to discuss a movie that I do like, but I haven't seen in a very long time. So I was actually really looking forward to checking this out, but we've already watched Dark Star, and we watched his second movie, Assault on Precinct 13, and then we watched Someone's Watching Me, and then he did Halloween, then he did the Elvis movie, then he did The Fog, and tonight, y'all, let's talk about it. It's time to talk about Escape from New York. Escape from New York from 1981. And at this moment, John Carpenter is on a roll. Like we were talking about, man, had a massive hit with Halloween. That led into him doing the massive TV movie Elvis, which was the first time he worked with Kurt Russell. That led to The Fog, where he met some other people and worked with them. And then it all comes into 1981 with Escape from New York. Holy cow. This is the second of his two-picture deal that he made with, Avco, right? Yeah, I believe it's Avco. But holy cow, is this movie awesome. And did I enjoy rewatching it. First of all, you know the plot. New York is a prison island, right? Crime has gone up rampant in the late 80s, and the government has a police state in effect, and there's a United States police force, and they have walled off Manhattan Island, and they just throw prisoners in there, and they're just doing their thing, right? And then we got Snake Plissken. Snake Plissken is a criminal about to be sent over that wall. However, and by the way, is it Lee Van Cleef? Yeah, Lee Van Cleef is in here. Oh my goodness, from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. His performance is absolutely amazing. He is the commissioner of the police state, of the police force or whatever. And the president's Air Force One has been hijacked and crash lands in New York behind the wall. And he meets some unsavory people. They kidnap him and they kind of hold him hostage, right? And Snake Plissken gets sent in, and they're like, yo, you go in there, you save the president, we're going to give you a pardon. But they put these like bombs in his neck. It's like Suicide Squad before Suicide Squad. Great effects in here for what they are. When you see New York, when they scale up over that wall, even though it's just like a model and stuff like that, it's so freaking good. Like this stuff, which is supposed to be like a computer mapping of New York as he's flying in on this glider, this is actually a model with this like day glow tape on it glowing in a black light, because this was cheaper than computer effects at the time. But the effects are great. Kurt Russell is amazing in this movie. We all know Snake Plissken. We love him. He really steps into the character. He's got this stoic sense of just snarl about him. We got Ernest Borgnine here as the cabbie. He's kind of a nice, fun, light-hearted kind of character. Harry Dean Stanton playing the guy who makes like gasoline and figures out all the other scientific stuff for the dude who is the king of New York, the Duke. Right, we'll get to him in just a moment. He also meets Harry Dean Stanton, who is the brain, his main squeeze, which is Maggie, I believe, played by Adrienne Barbeau. Oh my goodness, I'm in love with Adrienne Barbeau. But they, of course, everybody that Snake befriends in this movie betrays him to the Duke. And the Duke is played by Isaac Hayes, a very memorable role. Not a lot to do, but a lot of presence that's delivered, and that was what was necessary. Kurt Russell, though, handles the physicality. He handles the acting ability. There's not much to the character, but what we get is so appealing and engaging. You just can't help but love it. Of course, we know that he gets out. Everybody dies except for Kurt Russell. He makes it out. They disarm the bomb. And he doesn't deliver the right tape because there's a tape that's going to end there's a very like anti-war, anti-police state type thing going in here, but it's a very subtle approach in the midst of just a badass macho fucking movie, and I loved it. I'm going to give this an incredibly enthusiastic 4.5 you digs. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it's absolutely amazing and one of Carpenter's best movies, and a big hit for him too, if I remember correctly. 4.5. If you've watched this film, and I know you have, what do you give this film? What do you rate it out of 5 possible you digs? This is my Blu-ray version of it, so I have every John Carpenter film physically, and I'm very proud of that. I'm working on other directors like Wes Craven and Dario Argento, but I have every Carpenter film. That's why we're doing this, but I was really looking forward to this. Man, the performances are nuanced. The themes are nuanced. The story is simple. It is incredibly paced. The only problem I have is that maybe the pacing... It's like towards the middle of Act 2, maybe the beginning of Act 3. Like there's this section once Snake kind of gets captured where it lulls just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's the tiniest nitpick, and some of the effects don't age very well. That's just a couple of them. Most of the models and everything still look super good. I know that James Cameron helped them with some of that, but this is great. I love this movie. It was a great revisit. I'm so glad they never remade this movie. Knock on wood, because now they probably will. But I love this film. A really great DVD too, or a Blu-ray. I haven't gotten to dive into it, but it's a 2-disc set with the reversible art. The other disc is in the Blu-ray player. So anyway, I really, really like that movie. What do y'all think? First of all, AC says, I dig that Alex Ross went with pencil and inking instead of painting the entire FF graphic novel. I agree. That one, Eric says, Escape from New York is so good. Perfect pacing. Great story. 5 you digs all day. William says, hardcover of Ross doing Batman. Hughes on Catwoman. Jim Lee on Wonder Woman. Jay Lee doing Elektra. Cassidy on Captain America. Kelly Jones on Man-Thing. Or Germ on Black Cat. You pick others. Man, you could do some really great ones. That would be cool. It reminds me of something that Nick Patera said when we had him on the show. He said, you get all these covers by Art Adams. What if we just paid him really well to do one graphic novel each year? Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe that's something we might want to think about doing. Maybe this is actually a good format. Not saying a good format to replace monthly periodical comics. I'm not saying that. But a good format in addition. Get top-notch talent doing just a really good full story graphic novel and make it a big deal. Make it well-designed and make it fit in bookstores. When people open this up, this is the first thing they see. And they go, what? And I think at this point, you're hooked. You're hooked in. I really do. I really do. But I'm sure I could come up with some other ones. Let's see. How about Dan Moore doing a Superman one? How about... now I'm stumped. Because now I'm all I can... Okay. We'll just move on. No, but you're right. That would be some really good stuff. What about like Like John Byrne doing something, like an X-Men graphic novel, right? What about why am I blanking? What about Dale Keown doing something? Well, he'd probably just fall asleep, right? Trade Paper Dad says 4.2 ya digs or 4.69 backlogs. All right. William says Escape from New York gets 4.69. Spilio says Escape from New York is so good. 5 ya digs. Hey, we got Vern in the house station. Brother Joe says, I remember this movie. I liked this movie, and thanks for reviewing this movie, Robbie. 3.69 from me. Two Gun Pedro with a 4.5. Hell yeah. Let John Byrne finish the last Galactus story. Yeah, something like that, right? How about, I don't know. I want to get a good one here. Michelle Fife doing a Daredevil graphic novel. Or Fife, my bad. Michelle Fife doing a Daredevil graphic novel. What about Michael Allred doing a Spider-Man graphic novel? What about Frank Quitely doing anything? You all right? Like, that would be awesome. So that'd be cool. All right, we're about to take a quick break. When we come back, book report, top 5 movies of 2016, a little bit of show and tell, and continuing the fun conversation here on Rockin Robbie Live. We'll be right back.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seeds as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hi everybody, come join us here at the Experience this Monday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We just got all this new commission cover art from Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. We're going to have these two on Monday. We got the Penguin and the Green Goblin, and Mariano himself is going to be here coloring them live. It's going to be so cool. You guys can ask them questions. You can see how the process is done. It's really going to be a cool show. So come join us, the whole gang, here at the Experience, Monday, September 19th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see ya.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. We've been talking about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We've had a great show already. We've done the DC sneak peek. We talked about Cobra Kai Season 5. We did a Fantastic Four Full Circle by Alex Ross comic book review. We talked about Escape from New York, and still, we got top 5 movies of 2016. We got the book report. We're talking about a Brad Meltzer book tonight. We got show and tell. We got all that and more. And what is the more? That's up to you, because this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. What do you want to get in? What do you want to talk about here in the final act of Rockin Robbie Live tonight for Sunday, September 18th, 2022? You can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com, including our merch, t-shirts and stuff, which you can get with the Horny Time Horseshoe logo, Pop Culture Philosophers logo. We got the new gigantic moronic splendor. I'm about to send over Manny's design that he did for the John Byrne Did It Better t-shirt, which is kind of like our PCP official She-Hulk shirt. Join the PCP Army, though. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army officially. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, or with the super chat. And y'all, I'm feeling loosey-goosey. So next Joker video that pops up, who knows what's going to happen? I'll tell you what, it's going to be a Joker video. We're going to sing the song, Hellboy. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, or maybe something. I'm feeling good. How's everybody doing? We talked about the Cowboys. They won. I hope your team won. Amazing comebacks in the NFL today. I watched the Dolphins-Ravens game. That was an awesome game. I watched the tail end of that Arizona Las Vegas game. That was a crazy finale. So it's been a good day for football. Last week I just watched the Cowboys. Didn't pay attention to any other football. Today I paid attention to more football. So I kind of eased myself in, and it was great. I mean, we had a Cowboys victory. So I'm happy with it. We talked about the Constantine thing a little bit, right? Like so they're doing the Keanu Reeves Constantine 2. I never liked that movie. I really don't like the idea of a non-British Constantine, but I feel like there's something about that movie I missed. I only ever watched it the one time. It's got one big bonus for it. It's got Gavin Rossdale in it from Bush. So that's pretty cool. So I think a Constantine revisit and rewatch is in order. And we got the PCP lineup figured out all the way through we got it figured out for weeks and weeks and months and months and months, maybe years. So maybe we need to do something like that here on Rockin Robbie Live. Do a revisit of Constantine, or maybe a special PCP movie night or something. Maybe like after She-Hulk wraps up. Who knows? Who knows? All right, what's coming up here on the channel? What do you want to talk about? Throw it out in the chat, man. I feel like chatting right now. Let's see. Tomorrow night, we continue Rockin Robbie Live. Shit. Tomorrow night, we continue Horror Fest 2022 when we talk about The Changeling. That's at 8 p.m. Central Time, and that is after my show with Dynamite over at the EXP. Great show tomorrow because Mariano Nicieza, who is... Wait. Who's doing it? I don't know. Amy said that somebody's coloring comics tomorrow. I think it's Mariano Nicieza. I could be wrong. What does she say? Anybody remember? Anyway, it's on the promo. Let's play it again. Let's see what she says.
Hi, everybody. Come join us here at the Experience this Monday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We just got all this new commission cover art from Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. We're going to have these two on Monday. We got the Penguin and the Green Goblin, and Mariano himself is going to be here coloring them live. It's going to be so cool. You guys can ask him questions. You can see how the process is done. It's really going to be a cool show. So come join us, the whole gang, here at the Experience, Monday, September 19th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see ya.
See, that's really cool. Mariano Nicieza, who's the brother of Fabian Nicieza, is going to be there coloring those commissions that are going to be available for y'all to pick up. So that's super, super cool. I think that's awesome. And right after that, join us for Horror Fest on PCP Movie Night with The Changeling. Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, our She-Hulk episode review and discussion for episode 6. And Dylan's Horror Show, Us, will be a very anyway, it'll be a very crazy fun episode of Dylan's Horror Show. All right, how are y'all doing? Packers are now up 24-7. Okay, never mind. I guess week 1 is just a bye for Aaron Rodgers. Okay. That's how I'm feeling too, man. I'm feeling good. This is whiskey, man. Can't drink whiskey as fast as you do beer, Robbie. I'm trying to learn that. I'm becoming a whiskey drinker. Next thing you know, I'm going to have like more glasses. I'm going to have I get these whiskey stones and I got this mode that makes it into a bowl, the ice into a bowl. We get Sean in the house. What is up? Station, Sean Ali. Yeah, the Cards Raiders game was wild at the end. Yes, it was. Ouroboros Snake is a Dolphins fan. I'm happy for you then. That was a wild fourth quarter in that game. I'll tell you that. Do a Powerbomb. Tell me what you think, Robbie. Brother Joe, I think Do a Powerbomb is a fucking awesome comic. I think it's exciting. I think it's a dynamic. I think it's got a core. At the core, it's a story about family and wrestling. And I think wrestling fans will like it. Now, I've heard from certain hardcore wrestling fans that maybe Daniel Warren Johnson, I think, is new to wrestling. So maybe all the terminology and all the stuff isn't quite authentic or something is what I've heard from some people, right? Like it's not quite like, I don't know, like if Aubrey Sitterson or John Lees was doing it, right? But Daniel Warren Johnson's gotten into wrestling because of his kid, I believe. And you can see the love and the joy and the enthusiasm comes through that page, but it does have this heart. Daniel Warren Johnson is able to give these like badass, like rockin' fucking comics that are incredibly dynamic, but still have this nugget, this core, this thread of humanity, of family. It's really good, man. I would recommend it. Hey, Circumstances in the house. Station, my man. How you doing? That Arizona comeback win won me a couple of bets. Loved it. Hell yeah. Figure Drawing says, Do a Powerbomb is dope. That one, Eric says, not a wrestling fan, and I'm still loving Do a Powerbomb. It's top 10 of 2022 contender for me. Same here. And it's already time to start kind of thinking about those lists, right? reading any manga lately. Been getting back into Bleach and Berserk. I haven't been reading any manga lately. I do want to pick up that manga theater book that came out. I don't know how long ago it came out, but Kayfabe did a video about it, and I picked one up for Brooks's birthday, and he loved it. He loved it. So I'm excited to maybe pick that up and check it out. But I actually haven't been reading as many comics lately. I was reading more novels and books, but now like Horror Fest has overtaken me, and a lot of extra time's been spent watching these movies. Daniel Warren Johnson's Jurassic League and Do a Powerbomb is good. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah, Circumstances. Recently got Murder Falcon as an A-OK. Looking forward to that read from Daniel Warren Johnson. That book is so good. He does kick-ass books that have heart. That's what I should say. I wish we could get that pull quote right to him. I wish you could put that, I think that's a great pull quote, right? He does a kick-ass book with a lot of heart. I'll just say this. Do a Powerbomb is a kick-ass book with a lot of heart. Maybe we can keep floating this out. Maybe every time now I cover it, as long as I continue to like the issues, I'll keep saying that. And maybe one day, Daniel Warren Johnson will go, holy shit. Not that I need a pull quote from Daniel Warren Johnson to make me feel good about myself, but it would make me feel good for a couple hours, I'll tell you that. I met him at Heroes Con. Circumstances was at Heroes Con. Chilled with him at the bar for a little bit, but I didn't engage him in conversation. We were talking to Stephen Green, but he was standing right next to me in another conversation. We were in the same group that was broken up. It sounds like I'm reaching, like I'm name dropping, like I'm John Cole or something, but Daniel Warren Johnson's a super cool dude. Hey! Boom! Damien's in the house. What is up? Sleepy Reader 666. Hey, Robbie. In a recent live video, Bueller said your shop was the best he's visited so far in his trek around the country. I didn't see that, nor did I know about that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Damien, for letting me know that, man. I hope he means that. Do I need help with my self-esteem? No, Senator, I do not. Trust me. If anybody, y'all need to bring me down. Nah, man, but dude, that's super cool. I was so nervous when Bueller came to see us because I was like, Bueller's going to see all these awesome shops across the country. He's from Portland. There's a comic shop on every fucking corner. There's 2 coffee shops and a comic shop on every corner in Portland, Oregon. And I was so nervous. And our stores, there are elements of it where we're not the most organized maybe in our warehouse area and all that stuff. And I showed him the whole shebang. And so that means a lot that he said something like that. That's awesome. I think we got a pretty dope shop too, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure it was a pretty totally honest response from Travis. Yeah, Damien, you know Travis just like I do, and he ain't gonna lose out on any opportunity to dig on one of us. You know what I'm saying? So that's awesome, man. That makes me feel good about the shop. I'll let everybody know that he said that. That's awesome. Circumstances says, I'm the same, man. My wife hates on me because it's necessary for my ego. You know it, man. Yeah, he does love to take his digs, Damien, have you gotten a chance to read this Fantastic Four Full Circle yet? I just did a review on it. Incredible book. Loved it. Classic Kirby vibe. Fantastic Four adventure tale. Great artwork. Alex Ross doing something interesting with the colors. I really, really loved this book. I thought it was great. I did a review on it, probably what y'all, 40 minutes ago or something. If you get a chance, check it out. I think I'm going to try to cut it out and put it out on its own because I actually did that overhead shit where I flipped through the book, but it's such a good book. I'm just curious if you've checked it out yet. Oh, he's got Damien's got Full Circle. Haven't read it yet. I think you'll like it. It's really good. It's really good. In fact, I've gotten a lot of response from my last weekly comic book review in which I was rather harsh on Marvel. And I even told the fellas in the Bad Batch, I even told them before I uploaded it, I was like, I'm going to get a lot of people saying I'm just a Marvel hater. And, but first of all my thoughts are subjective. They're my thoughts on the comics that I read at the time, right? So anyway, I was like, man, they're really going to hate it once again when I don't have a Marvel book on my top 10 of the year. But we got a strong contender for the best Marvel book of the year. This is the best Marvel comic of the year. And the crazy thing is it's not published by Marvel Comics. The best Marvel comic of the year is not published by Marvel Comics. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, man. Because this is published by Abrams Arts, by the way, if you didn't know. Like, it is a Marvel book, and obviously this book can't be made without their say-so. But they didn't make this book. And when you read that, you can kind of fucking tell, because it's really good. Anyway. A lot of people wonder why Marvel didn't publish Full Circle directly. I don't think they have the capability of publishing something that clean. And I'm not just talking about the story or the art. Like, they can pay. Marvel's got the resources to do this, but they don't want to, right? Like, this is a gorgeous book. Like, that's the difference. And that book deserved a different treatment. And Marvel's just not capable of providing that treatment right now. Marvel's got the shittiest paper quality, the shittiest coloring for the paper that they're printing on. Marvel is just... I'm sorry, y'all. And I know people love Marvel. And I'm a Marvel zombie, too. I fucking love Marvel. I think the comic book industry as a whole needs a healthy Marvel. Marvel is not in a good place right now. No, not as far as developing readership that lasts. Not as far as developing art that lasts, that has staying power. That's more than just a 5-minute quib on YouTube and then you move on. You never think about it again. And yes, I heard somebody said, y'all, Robbie doesn't read X-Men or Eternals, so he doesn't know what's going on in Acts. No, I know what's going on in Acts. It is not a complex story because it's literally been this. It's the simplest fucking story. They've stretched it out for 4 fucking issues. Now, if y'all like it, that's cool. We all got our things. That's just my perspective. Anyway. That's what happens when I drink whiskey. Shit. Maybe I shouldn't drink whiskey. He switched from rum to whiskey. Anybody like Murder City Devils? Anybody like that band? Love that band. If you don't like it, give it to me. There you go. Does your cat think you're cool, Robbie? On a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are we here? I'm fairly certain my cat thinks I'm the fucking bee's knees, brother. I'll tell you that. Circumstances says, yeah, I'm an indie guy, but between the big two, I just became a DC guy, jumped in on Action Comics, dropped a ton of Marvel after your last weekly review. Sinner says, but indie does? Get the fuck out of here. Yes, indie does. There's more in the indie, if you want to call it the indie side of things, right? But what we can say, the small press side of things, not even small press, I mean small publishers, but the smaller publishers, right? Because Boom Studios is way bigger than something like, say, Fantagraphics, which is way bigger than something like, say, Source Point or Scout. So, like, there's all kind of degrees there and resources, but the fact that outside of the big two, so, like, right now we know all the Warner Brothers shit, right? Marvel's got fucking resources. They're owned by Disney. Billions of dollars there, right? Like, but they refuse to put money into their product, whether it's their TV shows, their movies, or their fucking comics. Like, they are printed on shitty paper with really shitty coloring. Like, and I'm not saying the coloring itself is bad. Like, I'm sure the coloring on Axe... Dude, they did a fucking book, Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, so they could abbreviate it as Axe, because they think that's fucking cool. They think that's what people fucking want. It's so ridiculous to me. Anyway, that being said, I feel like their colorists are being fucking handcuffed because they're being told to color a certain way, and then it doesn't print on this shitty ass quality paper stock that they're doing, and it just gets all fucking muddy. You know how many people have told me that they're nervous to read a Marvel comic because the ink comes off on their fucking hands? Is that supposed to happen? No, we're not on fucking 80s newsprint anymore. And in 80s newsprint, that actually had a charm to it because they knew how to color for that fucking paper stock. They don't know what they're doing anymore. And when I say they, I don't know if I mean the colorists. I don't know if I mean the decision makers. I don't fucking know. Right now, I'm a little drunk and I'm fucking rambling. But Marvel is not, like, Marvel is shit right now, man, in my opinion. And it's just like, their stories don't feel like they have a direction. They have these long form stories, but they don't click and they allow them to continue on. Meanwhile, these other stories that are kind of jiving and clicking, they go in and they fuck with, make them tie into other things like Spider-Man. Like, why is Spider-Man all of a sudden tying into Hellfire Gala, which happened like 2 fucking months ago? Like, who even remembers that? Like, we're trying to get into the vibe and flow of this fucking book, which has already been inconsistent because of the way they choose to color and try to, through the coloring, mold John Romita. You don't mold John Romita Jr. fucking pencils. He draws blocky, square fucking... You can't make that fucking... You can't... What are you doing? What are you fucking doing? I'm losing my fucking mind here, y'all. Like, and... it's just so fucking muddy, and it's just so thin, and it's just it's ugh. That being said, there are some Marvel books I like. Savage Avengers I like. Punisher I like. Fantastic Four I was liking. What else? I know there are other books I like from Marvel. Moon Knight was winning me over, but it's kind of losing me right now. What else? Predator's decent enough, but Punisher, Thunderbolts, 1 issue in Thunderbolts, I've liked that. Punisher and Savage Avengers, those are good. Right now, my favorite Marvel book is Punisher. There you go. That's how I fucking feel. I think, here's the thing, and this is why it pisses me the fuck off. Because someone was like, you gave Garbage Pail Kids and Mad Balls a good review, but if Marvel did that, you'd shit all over it. No, if Marvel did a book that was meant to be cartoony and fucking humorous and excelled at doing that, I would let you know that that's what I thought. That there's a big fucking difference. You know what I'm saying? And like, out of all of these companies, the most resources are at Marvel. They have the resources to get the writers and the artists and the paper quality and the colorists, and they have the opportunity to get the best editors in there and this and that, but they don't because they're cheap. They're cheap. They get people to come in as interns. They want them to move into associate editors. They become the editors. They've been reading comics for 10 years. Not that there's a problem with that. There's a fire and a passion in being into something, even for a short time. But holy shit. I'm getting heated. I'm sorry. I'm getting heated. What do y'all think? Because I've been thinking about making a whole video, because somebody asked me. I would love to see a video about your thoughts on what's wrong with Marvel. And I don't like going negative, but I'm passionate about comics. And when I see a company doing less than they are capable of, I got to call them out on that. I'm not a shill. I'm not going to fucking fluff up a creator or a company. I will hold them accountable. Like, that's what I fucking do. Like, I read a bunch of comics and I'll let you know what I thought about them. There's no ulterior motive aside from I love talking about the stuff I love talking about. And I love talking about the stuff I love talking about with you. And I want to be able to do that. And that's why we do what we do in the way that we do it. That's what we do. There is no what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get cool with fucking David Pepose because I think he's going to give me a gig on a Marvel book? Fuck no. I don't even have to pitch for a fucking Marvel book. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my fucking plan. Do I want to make comics one day? Yes. Am I there yet? No. But like, what the fuck? I call it as I see it. It's subjective. Anyway. What do y'all think? Circumstances says, let's fucking party. Damien says, whiskey truths. What days do I work at the comic shop? Every day. But Friday and Sunday. That one Eric says, Marvel makes a bunch of questionable decisions on things that should be layups. Put top creators on top characters. It's not rocket scientists. Rocket science. The other thing is they can't get the right creator on the right fucking book. Rom V is a co-writer on Venom with Al Ewing doing this fucking time travel shit that is just like every other fucking time travel story. Oh god. Like Rom V needs to be on like Doctor Strange or like I don't know, like Doctor Strange is where I would put Rom V if I was a Marvel editor, but I'm not, and I'm not. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I think they make exactly the same amount of money as I make, so it wouldn't be an upward trend. You know what I'm saying? Marvel disregards anything that will make the money and stretch it out. Spilio says, preach. Ouroboros says, Robbie's on fire tonight. That one, Eric says, ugh, Dark Web is not looking like a winner. Now, Dank Web, though. Okay, here's the thing. So, Amazing Spider-Man's starting to kind of win us over. It's gaining some traction, and then we get this Hellfire Gala tie-in. Now we're about to get some Axe tie-ins. Then we get this Dark Web shit. And Dark Web would be cool, but why are we doing this fucking crossover already at the end of a crossover that's honestly not successful? Okay? And I'm not saying that my shop is indicative of all the shops, but I also do look at some numbers when we can get a hold of them, because a lot of companies don't want to release those numbers, but Axe is not selling well, at all for a Marvel event. It's underperforming Devil's Reign, and Devil's Reign underperformed Empire. Maybe cool it fucking off. Maybe one event a year is enough. That's all I'm trying to say. Maybe that's why I don't mind DC. Crossovers are different. Like shit like Shadow War, when they cross over Titans with Superboy or some shit like that. That's different. But the big events, Marvel does 4 a fucking year. 4 a year, right? Why? Why? DC does the one, big one, right? We got Dark Crisis. Whether you like it or not, that's kind of more contained to itself and its direct tie-ins. Axe is infiltrating all this other fucking shit. Dark Web's gonna fucking do this. Anyway. Ronald, what is up? An opinion, just spitting facts. Okay, thank you. Oh, not an opinion, just spitting facts. Yeah, thank you. I know Spilio would love that Punisher love. It's a good book. William says, Marvel books feel like they are being produced on an assembly line. The creativity is gone. Atomic Buzzer says, tell us how you feel. Well, Eric says, make the video. You should be critical of the things you love. Circumstances says, I always assume Marvel editors are being too restrictive, but I have no clue. I don't work at Marvel, obviously. I'm plugged in a little bit. I hear some things. Marvel's not where people are happiest right now. But that's fine. 80% of YouTubers are DC fans and hate on Marvel. Really? I don't know about that. There's a lot of YouTubers that are just shit on DC. But this is what I'm trying to say. I don't have a horse in the race when it comes to Marvel or DC. I love comics. I don't care what company or creator produces them. If you give me good comics that I feel are worth my time and money, that I love, that make me feel like I want to reread it, those are the books I want to talk about. But obviously I do the weekly comic book review, so I try to keep up with a lot of stuff. It's just part of the game. Nova 69 Station. A whole video on what's wrong with Marvel? I think we just got it. Yeah, but I think I could make that a little bit more cohesive and not be just a drunken rant. Damien says, it's got to be Marvel execs out at Disney who don't know comics pulling the strings at a distance. I have not checked out, was it ISOM by Ripaverse? I heard about there was some controversy or something, I don't know, because he kickstarted successfully his own thing. I'm not super familiar with him, so. I think I watched one video of him one time, and I actually thought It was an incredibly needed video because he was basically talking about Star Wars fans, and he was talking about Star Wars fans who hate all the new Star Wars stuff, right? Like they hate everything since say Force Awakens and on. And that's valid. That's a valid opinion, bro. Like if that's your opinion on Star Wars, I'd be like, I don't think you're wrong. But the people that are so mad and they get so it bothers them, right? He basically was like, look, y'all understand the people that are making these, they're not making them for you then. They're not making them for you. Let it go. And I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense to me because that's how I kind of feel. Now, I'm not going to let go of Marvel, but Marvel as a whole right now, we got to hold them accountable because otherwise they're going to get away with it. They're going to keep giving us low-quality comics from a top-tier publisher with the most resources out of all of them. Why does Scout fucking Comics have better paper quality than Marvel? I'm waiting for an answer. Why does Scout fucking Comics... Scout Comics made this in a fucking cave with scraps. Why the fuck does Scout have better paper quality than Marvel? Explain that one. Anyway. Freaks and Robbie come out at night. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Joe, because as Billy Corgan liked to say, we only come out at night. Any legitimate writers or artists that Marvel has left? Yes, they have a plethora of talent at their disposal. Ram V is there, wasting away on Venom with Al Ewing. They have Pepe Larraz there on the artistic side. They have great artists. They have great writers. And they could also raise pay rates and bring in more talent and cultivate new talent and bring in veteran talent. And not just like Chris Claremont to do a 5-issue Gambit series that's already dated feeling, legitimate creators that could do some good shit. They could have paid Alex Ross to make this, but they licensed it out to Abrams Arts. Atari says, brother, I'm invested now. You need a drink, 2 glasses before you even show up. Sleepy Reader says, writers I think are great go to Marvel, then suddenly they aren't so special anymore. And that's the thing. Y'all know me. Not only do I have a crush on Ron V, probably, I fucking love this dude's work. And I'm just not digging Venom and Carnage as much, and I don't think it's the right place for him. However, his detective run, that works because he's able in detective comics outside of Batman proper to do a different type of Batman story, and so far it's working. And they got a great artist there accomplishing that vision. 16 issues of Swamp Thing. Holy shit, with Mike Perkins and Mike Spicer and Aditya Bidikar, blew me away. Continuously keeps making my favorites of the year. Many Deaths of Layla Starr, Blue and Green, come on. Why is he co-writing Venom with fucking Al Ewing? And I love Rom. I'm happy for him. But his work at DC is more compelling to me. And it has been since Justice League Dark. And even Catwoman was more compelling to me than... And I love Venom and Carnage. New Carnage, I think, this week, though. We'll see what happens. I'm on the fence on that one, but Venom's starting to really fucking lose me, man. Wouldn't it be cliche for Doctor Strange to be in a time travel book series? I don't know what time book we're talking about, but not necessarily. Time travel is like a sci-fi concept. And Doctor Strange is like a magic sorcery fantasy concept. So I don't think that would be... I don't get what you're saying. Hey, but fair enough, sure. I'm enjoying Punisher, but that cover price hurts. At least we do get extra page quality, extra page content, right? We get extra pages in Punisher, and it's not just meaningless backup stories. It actually is part of the thing, right? Just fast forward 5 years, it's just me yelling at a bottle? I hope not. William says, not only did I drop picking up Marvel Comics, I canceled Marvel Unlimited, couldn't take it anymore. Well, Marvel Unlimited's cool because you got all that access to all that old stuff. How is Dark Crisis selling? Dark Crisis is selling very well. However, I will let you know, let you in on a little secret. Every issue of Dark Crisis is returnable, which means that they sell high, but a lot get returned and credit given back to the shops. However, in my shop, the sell-through is really good. Dark Crisis is outselling Axe. It sells like double the fucking numbers of Axe at my shop. And the tie-ins. Right now, in my shop, Dark Crisis is kicking the ass of Axe. And the other thing is Marvel doesn't do returnability very much at all. That means there's no confidence behind the product. And you can say that DC just does that to have good numbers to tout them, but DC doesn't tout their numbers. They're afraid to tout their numbers because the numbers used to be so big in comics that touting big numbers now is like, Death of Superman sold more, right? Fucking Spawn #1 sold more. We're not at that level anymore, so it's almost like they're ashamed of it, is what I've heard. I do love Chucky Perry. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Jonathan. When was the last time Marvel made Pick of the Week? It wasn't too long ago. Surely there's something. I should write all the picks of the week down so then I would actually notice this stuff. But I don't know. It's probably been a while. Most of the picks of the week are usually indie books, y'all. I'll be honest with you. They are. It just is the way it is. And so far, my book of the year is Agent of World. A scout comic made in a cave with fucking scraps. I'm sure Marvel made a pick of the week not too long ago, though. I'm sure there was something. Maybe it was Punisher #1. I don't fucking know. Punisher's a good book, though. Thunderbolts is a good book. One issue in, but Thunderbolts is a good book. Black Cat is a good book. Marvel just can't allow it to be Black Cat, because right now Black Cat would be like on a larger number, then people would look at it and go, that book has made it to 40 issues. Maybe I'll try it because it's stood the test of time. But instead, they just keep rebooting it and making it these miniseries and shit. They're doing it right now with the Iron Cat. That's a good book. Jed McKay is a good writer. There's good stuff being produced by Marvel. Savage Avengers is a good Marvel book. William says, your show gave me the push I needed to try independent books. I now enjoy comics again. Station. That's the ulterior motive. Enjoying comics. I did the video, 10 Simple Rules to Enjoy Comics. There you go. There you go. But not to sound like a 90s self-important Grammy nominee. But if I have a platform, I got to use it. And I got to call out what is the gross negligence of the community, the audience, and the resources and creators. I'm not saying DC's perfect. They ain't at all. But Marvel is on my shit list. Steve says, Image is killing it right now. Eric says, that's awesome, William. So many indies. Yes, absolutely, that's awesome. I wonder about pay rates. Ron V should be making bank. I agree. I don't know too much about pay rates. I know a little bit, but not too much. Nothing I'm willing to share. Nothing I'm willing to share. Hector Ortiz says, true, there's a lot of more Marvel fans on YouTube and everywhere else shitting on everything DC does and puts out. It's a complete joke. What do I think of DC possibly licensing out their characters? I hear that every 6 months. It's never turned out to be true in my entire life. So we'll see. I like the Hulk books by Al Ewing. I agree. I liked his Immortal Hulk run, but it did kind of almost overstay its welcome, and I feel like it hit its peak concept at 25 and never quite lived up to that promise, because I really thought we were building something big. But overall, I think Immortal Hulk was good. I'm not saying Al Ewing's a bad writer. There you go. Can't wait for Larraz to flourish at DC. Can't wait for Larraz to do something independent and flourish there, because they make more money doing that. I heard this from many comic book creators. The only way a creator makes money right now in comics is you make an image number 1 that sells over 100K. So good for them people. Good for Donnie Cates doing it. Good for Scotty Young doing it. Good for others doing it. Support the indie work of the creators you love. That's how you will help, as a consumer, better this industry. The more money we give the best creators, the more great creation they give us. We got to realize, obviously, everything else in the world, we understand that the artist is greater than the corporation. But in comics, we have these loyalties to these corporations. We got to get out of that and get these loyalties to we have love for these characters that are owned by these corporations, but we got to show that love to these creators that we love. Because too many people like Jack Kirby, too many people like Gene Colan, too many people like Bill Finger didn't get the respect and recognition they deserved during their lifetimes. Atari says, cheers, brother. I felt that rant. Yeah, I wasn't planning on going this long. Jonathan says, nice. I have my Fantastic Four full circle. Yes, that's so good. That's such a good book. And it's a Marvel character property. It's not produced by Marvel, though. Ron V could write the hell out of an Elektra ongoing. Oh, he would write the hell out of Daredevil and Elektra, maybe when Zdarsky's done. That would be a really great idea, actually. That'd be really good. Because Marvel puts out 90 times more BS than everybody else. They can't afford good paper. Hey, Larry Moore with the super chat. Thank you so much, Larry. We'd really appreciate that. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had a sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights these evil and monsters like Jason Voorhees, and he fights with the man who we know is Uncle Scrooge jumping on Jason's head. Don't you see what it can do? Now he fights with the Firestarter, Keith Flint from Prodigy, and an ectoplasmic mess named Slimer. Did we just get Slime? BBRD, Ghostbusters Supreme. Let me tell you, everybody, you don't know what's on the block. Rockin' Robbie on the block. Let me tell you, tick-tock, it's the clock of the clock. Let me know where we stop, and we never wanna drop our drawers. Let me tell you, cause we going into the florist shop, saying hello, how do you do? Give me a nice corsage for my prom date, but I'm 41, that sounds really creepy, don't you know? But we're going to a zombie prom. It's not for high school No, it's not. I don't mean to sound wrong or respect your rude. I don't know if whiskey is a good thing here for Rockin Robbie Live, but thank you so much, Larry Station. Pop, pop, boom. Really do appreciate that. Helps us out here on the channel so much. Keeps the lights on, keeps the internet rolling, if you will. Atomic Buzzer says, Moon Knight is the last I remember, as far as a good Marvel book. Circumstances is enjoying Punisher, surprised by it. Also, Moon Knight is great. Spilio's loving some Moon Knight. Licensing out seems dangerous to me. Just seeing the previews, we're getting a new World War Hulk. Yes, we are. Excited for that, of course. Made in the cave with fucking scraps. That should be on a t-shirt. I'm sure it's on plenty of t-shirts. We need to make sure it's like Scout Comics made this in a fucking cave. Figure Drawing says, regarding the big two, there are way more examples of good art compared to good writing. Steve says, the livest stream wasn't expecting the Hellboy bars. Love Whiskey Robbie. I'm here for the whiskey vids. That's just saying. All right. If y'all want more whiskey, just keep the conversation going. Keep the super chats coming, and you never know what's going to happen. It's time to move on. It's time for the book report. We got serious work to do here. We talk about books without pictures sometimes. So let's talk about Dead Even by Brad Meltzer. It's his second novel. All right, so this is my copy of Dead Even by Brad Meltzer. This is the second novel by him. It came out like the late 90s, probably. Early 2000s. Let's see here. I'm going to look for it. I first became aware of Brad Meltzer, 1998. I first became aware of Brad Meltzer when he took over Green Arrow after Kevin Smith, with Phil Hester, Andy Parks still maintained the artistic team. And I really liked his run. The Archer's Quest, you can find it, and I don't know if you can find it, but get the issues. It's like 6 issues, or it's a graphic novel called The Archer's Quest. It's really good. And then we know that he did a run on Justice League of America, and he did what's the Identity Crisis. Yeah, that's the one. Anyway, so when I first started reading that Green Arrow book, I was like, who is this Brad Meltzer guy? I started trying to find some of his work. I read like the Book of Lies or the Book of Fate, one of those, something like that. And so now what I'm doing is I'm going through his whole bibliography, right? So a few weeks ago, we were talking about 10th Justice, which is his first book, and I liked it. I thought it was good. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. And for the second book, I kind of say the same thing. It was good, but it's not perfect. So Dead Even is about these two attorneys that are husband and wife, okay? So one of them is just now an assistant DA, like for the government, right? She just got this gig, and there are these layoffs that are about to happen. And it's always the newbies that get cut first. So she's got to make a good impression. So she winds up taking this case that's reserved for another assistant district attorney that she thinks is going to be a high-profile case, but it's actually a small burglary. But it actually involves this, like, bigger crime that's going on and leads to a homicide case. So then her husband, who is a defense attorney, gets hired by the people responsible for the crime that she's investigating. They hire him. They find him and say, if you lose this case for us, we're going to kill your fucking wife. So now he's trying to sabotage his wife in her new career. Meanwhile, another faction related to these series of events finds her and says, if you lose this case, I'm going to kill your fucking husband. So now she's trying to actively sabotage, and it wrecks their marriage. All this shit's going on. It gets rather dramatic. There are moments of this that are obvious. There are moments of this that feel cliche. There are moments of this that feel a bit too try-hard. But for a second novel, it's very compelling. Now, the book I have is only just under 500 pages. It was a quick read. I read this in like 4 or 5 days. I loved it, though. I did like it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. The characters are fine. It's from the late 90s. There's some moments in there that don't age very well or whatnot, but for the most part, it was engaging. If you like John Grisham type stuff, if you like those kind of like legal thrillers, this early Brad Meltzer stuff is really cool. 10th Justice was interesting, but Dead Even was just as interesting and added a new flavor and dynamic by having these two characters that were pitted against each other that were husband and wife. So I did like this. There were a moment, like in 10th Justice, it dragged for a little bit. And this one, it didn't necessarily drag, but there was just a moment where it just kind of felt like it was repeating the same bit over and over, but just through different perspectives. But by the end of it, I was incredibly satisfied with this. I thought it was a really good read. Brad Meltzer, who we know in comics, it's cool to dive into his bibliography and read his novels. I'll be reading his next one after this soon, which is The First Council. But yeah, I would recommend this. I would give this a very hearty 3.5. You digs. That has been this week's Book Report. So there you go. He's playing a dangerous game with that whiskey. You know it. Hey, Eric says, nice. Just started his latest novel. Which one? Like Lincoln Conspiracy? Is that what we're talking? I haven't read that one yet. Is that what we're talking about, or has he done one since? Brad Meltzer's like incredibly successful. He did that Decoded show on History Channel. He's got like an incredibly successful line of all ages books that are like, I am Amelia Earhart. I am Harriet Tubman, I think was a big one. Like just like popular historical figures, American historical figures, but for kids. Twitch is in the house. Station Twitch. Ouroboros says, wow, great conflict. Yeah, it's a really good setup. And it's pretty good, actually. Like, 3.5. I mean, it's a good, solid book. It's decent enough. He's not going to, like, wow you with his use of language or like, he's a very direct, concise, succinct kind of, he just gets right to it. I'll just read you a quick little bit here. Let's see. Something without a lot of dialogue. Because there are moments that there's a lot of dialogue in here. It was only 1 PM when Sarah arrived back at her office, but her face was already showing signs of exhaustion. Although the 4-hour orientation session was supposed to be a simple and informative introduction to the DA's office, Sarah spent every hour of it worrying about who would be the first to go. Still trying to figure out the answer, she collapsed in her seat. Before she could even catch her breath, the phone rang. So it's like that kind of thing, right? It's very quick. It gets right to it. It's not going to bog you down with description or anything like that. Brad Meltzer's a very quick, concise read. That's what I like about him. Lightning Rod. I haven't heard of that one yet. Definitely I'll get to it. Kid Cloud Kicker's in the house. Station, yeah, the Cowboys did it today. How about him? Kenneth is in the house. Station, Kenneth, how you doing? William has apparently done the research. Robbie, the last Marvel book you gave pick of the week was March 30th for Hulk Grand Design. There you go. That's another one that may make the top 10, or I might inflate it to a top 20 again. I think a top 20 gives me an opportunity to spotlight more publishers. All right. But thank you for checking that out. So yeah, the last Marvel book for pick of the week was Hulk Grand Design #1 on March 30th. Chocos26 says, enjoy the show. We never miss it here. Well, thank you for that. All right, it's time for the top 5 movies of 2016, a.k.a. Robbie needs to watch more movies from the last 15 years. Let's get into it. At number 5, I've got a surprise. Deadpool. I skipped this movie when it first came out because y'all know how I felt about Deadpool. But last year I watched the 2 Deadpool movies just to give up and say, you know what? Let me watch them. I fucking love Deadpool. This is a great movie. Now, I have, just like last week when we talked about 2015, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen from this era. I really need to focus in. And maybe after the John Carpenter filmography, I should really focus in on trying to catch up on some of these films that I need to catch up on. But Deadpool's a great movie. It actually has heart while being funny. It has a lot of charm to it. At number 4, I'm going Hail Caesar by the Coen brothers. This is one of their sillier attempts at making a movie, but I absolutely love the silly nature of this film. George Clooney cracks me the fuck up. Also, the dude, what's his name? But the guy that played Han Solo in Solo, he is so funny. There's this moment with Ray Fiennes in this movie that cracks me the fuck up. If only 'twere so. Like, oh my goodness, that's a great movie. At number 3, Hidden Figures. I live in Huntsville, Alabama, home of the Marshall Space Flight Center. Big part of the space race of the 60s. It's always held a special close part of my heart. This movie is about the hidden figures of the space race, in particular, these 3 black women who were integral to helping us land to the moon. This is an incredibly well done movie, dramatic, historical, yet funny, and filled with character. At number 2, I got Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, in particular, the Ultimate Edition. That is the best edition of this movie. At the time, I said this was my favorite movie of 2016, but I didn't watch anything outside of just your typical superhero fare or anything like that. But I know a lot of people don't like this movie, but I love it. I think it is filled with symbolism. I think it's filled with intention. I think it's filled with so much to interpret that I absolutely adore this film. But you know what? I know not everybody feels that way. And at number 1, I got Split. I can't call myself a fan of M. Night Shyamalan. I like 2.5 of his movies, but one of those movies is Split. And it's because James McAvoy is so brilliant in this film of performing as all of these different personalities. This movie's got thrills. This movie's got tension. This movie is Hitchcockian. And it's also just the best of M. Night Shyamalan, which we only see in just a few movies every so often. So basically, I need to watch way more of these movies that came out this year. But at number 5, I've got Deadpool. And Civil War would be an honorable mention. At number 4, I've got Hail Caesar. At number 3, Hidden Figures. At number 2, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Axe. And then number 1, Split. What are your top 5 movies of 2016? Sinner says, damn, I thought I was late on Deadpool. I didn't watch it because what's-his-name is a horrible actor at his Green Lantern role. Ryan Reynolds is good. You know, I mean, actors at that level, they're going to take so many jobs that it's not about the quality of the role. But he did a great job in Deadpool. And historically, I'm not really a big Deadpool fan, but I thought he nailed it. I thought they nailed this movie. I thought it was great. William says, 2016 films, Deadpool, Sausage Party. I haven't seen that. Rogue One. See, here's the thing. I don't like Rogue One. I know so many people love Rogue One, and that's cool. I've never really grabbed me. So I didn't include it. Train to Busan, which I have not seen, but that's one of those movies I need to see. Ex Machina from last week. Train to Busan from this one. Captain America Civil War, though, really good one. Eric says, Hail Caesar, Civil War, Rogue One, Star Trek Beyond. You know, believe it or not, I have that movie, and I still have yet to watch Star Trek Beyond. And Nice Guys. I haven't seen that one either. Two Gun Pedro says, Deadpool, Rogue One, 13 Hours. Haven't seen that one. Split and Train to Busan. I need to watch Train to Busan. This list will definitely change, and maybe after I do this journey of catching up on some fucking movies, maybe we can redo the 20 teens. Ouroboros Snake says, Batman vs. Superman, La La Land. Haven't seen La La Land. Seems like it'd be up my alley, though. Deadpool, Arrival, and Nice Guys. I saw Arrival, and there was a time in my life where my girlfriend at the time worked late hours. I worked early hours. I woke up super early. She stayed up super late, and the time that I would try to stay up so I could hang out with her and watch movies, and I would consistently fall fucking asleep during a slow-paced movie or something like Quiet Place. I fell asleep during, and Arrival. So I think I fell asleep during a few bits there for that movie, but otherwise, I thought that it was just kind of, I was like, when we got to the point, I was like, that's the point. But I think that's one I need to really rewatch. 2010 to 2020 Movie Fest lineup coming. You know it. Ayer Cut, when it comes out, might be eligible. Yeah, the Suicide Squad movie's not as bad as I thought it would be at the time. I'll be honest with you. But there you go. All right, it's time for show and tell. So for show and tell, we kind of have a Mike special. Mike AOK'd me several things. We'll start off with this. This is a Funko Mystery Mini Elvira. He gave this to me on Saturday, which happened to be Cassandra Peterson's birthday. I think 71st birthday? Holy shit. Still looking good. Elvira. So it's nice to have that because I got several other of those. He also hooked me up with this and said, you want to go? So it's the new one chip challenge. It's pretty much the same challenge, I think, but it turns your tongue blue now, it says. What is this, the fucking 90s? It turns your tongue blue, so it's like a blue corn chip or whatever. And I told him, fuck it, we'll do it again. So we're doing the one chip challenge again. And y'all remember what happened last time. Twitch for top 5 of 2016 says your name. Haven't seen that. Civil War. 3 goes to Kubo and the Two Strings. Holy shit. Kubo and the Two Strings is that year? I got a new top 5 then. I fucking love that movie. That movie would easily be my number 3 on this list then. God damn it. At number 2, Arrival, and number 1, Deadpool. Robbie's gonna puke again. I hope not. I think I can do it again this time. I have eaten a Carolina Reaper. I eat some of the hottest fucking foods. Out of all of my friends, me and Mike can handle the hottest shit. I don't know why that chip kicked my ass, but it did. But we're moving on. So last year for Halloween, General Mills did these awesome cereal box toys where they were their cereal mascots and costumes, Halloween costumes. Now they've done a 90s version. So Mike hooked me up with Sonny from Cocoa Puffs, and it looks like he's dressed up as Urkel, actually. He's wearing overalls and these glasses, so it's not necessarily suspenders. It reminds me of Urkel, but it's like a 90s nerd. And then there's the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the new thing, and it looks like a hard disk drive. That's cool. So there's more of these, and if you got any extras, you can send them my way, please. Mike also hooked me up with this. I don't buy too many pops, but you know me, big NBA fan, big Lakers fan, big Magic Johnson fan. So we got me this Magic Johnson 1991 All-Star game. And I think, if I remember right, this is his last All-Star game. This was after he kind of stopped playing because he tested HIV positive, and he came back for this All-Star game, and I think this was his last thing until the Dream Team. So that's really fucking cool. So thank you, Mike, for that. Mike also picked me up this. That's an Ash action figure, y'all. We had Jimmy Palmiotti here on the channel. He's a friend of the show. I saw him in Charlotte. Hung out with him and talked to him for a while at the bar at Heroes Con. But here we go. He told me on that thing, he goes, there is an Ash figure. Because he told me, he was like, I like all your action figures. Do you got an Ash one? I got a Painkiller Jane figure right here. I was like, no. So now I've got the Ash figure. So now when I go meet Jimmy and Joe again, I can get them to sign this. I will not open this until I get another one. But apparently it's not a hard figure to find. But I would love to have one on card signed. But yeah, Ash right there, man. I was a big Ash fan back in the fucking day. All right. And we're going to wrap up with this. We were talking about Elvira, Cassandra Peterson's birthday. There is the NECA Elvira figure right there. We'll be opening that up soon-ish. But not quite yet. But there it is right there in all of its glory. So Mike, thank you for those gifts. Thank me for that. But yeah, that's show and tell for tonight. And we're not doing final fives. Because we didn't do the first 5. So we can't quite do that. Anyway. Washing that down with whiskey will be a bad idea. Nah, I've just been feeling this Marvel thing, and I knew that with that latest weekly comic book review, that some people were I'm not trying to tell you that you like shit comics. like what you like, read what you love. That's fine. My opinion shouldn't affect your opinion, right? But right now, I see, as someone who's read comics for over 35 years, I am seeing trends that are not looking good for Marvel. And I got to stand up for this industry, man. I want Marvel to be good. I want Marvel to be healthy. I want some people at Marvel maybe to read, to watch some of these videos and maybe think he's right, or maybe he's right about this. I don't fucking know. I got to let it be told. And that's the way I live my life. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us here tonight for Rockin Robbie Live. This has been a good one, an unexpected one at times, especially in the third act. But I am Rockin Robbie Billups, coming up here on the channel. Join us tomorrow night for The Changeling on HorrorFest 2022, PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time. That's after the show at The Experience with Dynamic Forces, a.k.a. Dynamite Entertainment. We got a great show. We got some original art. It's going to be live colored by Mariano Nicieza, and that's going to be fantastic. Join us for that at 5, and then The Changeling at 8. She-Hulk episode review and discussion for episode 6, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. And Dylan's Horror Show, Us. I'll be broadcasting live from Memphis, Tennessee, home of Graceland. Maybe down in Memphis, Graceland's all in lights. But in Atlanta, Georgia, it's peace on earth tonight. Station. Pop, pop, boom! All right, so we got a taste test here. So I ordered these online, and they came from Ireland, but these are like the UK's version of Doritos. Now, when I first ordered these, I was looking for like Dorito flavors not in the US, and I saw tangy cheese, and I ordered them, and they came yesterday. And I researched them, and I found out this is just nacho cheese, but the European version. But maybe they're different, but I hear that they're not. So let's just see what happens here. I like trying different things. I love Doritos. They smell like regular ass Doritos. Wow, that shit came from Ireland, and there's a whole chip. It was like 6 of these bags that were shoved into a box like this size, man. It looked like slightly bigger than the Lament configuration. It looks like a Dorito, maybe a little bit more orange. Weird, okay. It's different. It's not nacho cheese. So it's less spicy. Not that nacho cheese Doritos are spicy. They're not at all. But it's got less of that kind of peppery spice to it. This is like cheese flavored Doritos. This is like Cheetos flavored Doritos. These are good. They're very similar, but they don't have, I guess, the zest of the nacho cheese. That's still pretty good, though. I gotta wash these down, man. I gotta wash these down. Yo, how's it feel? PCP. Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win in life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I can change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win in life. I never miss, that's fact. Tip me the switch, bitch, hand me the back, put me in the ring, you go out in the back, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mat like. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill. I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it feel, PCP Army out there in the back chat? What is up? It's one of them whiskey nights. So let's get risky. Feel. How's it supposed to feel? Yo, they wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do, that's fact. I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah, bitch, I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right, the fuel's got me hazy. About to unpack all these dreams I've been chasing. I got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I feel the seats as I spread with every word that I said. How's it feel, PCP? How does it feel, PCP? How How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to be when you're drinking on a motherfucking pick of whiskey? Let me tell you, everybody, whether it's Hennessy, everybody knows that you gotta get busy. Everybody knows what you gotta say, like an X-Men coming around, gonna make a stand, like against the magneto liberty. Everybody know better day. That last bit was just gibberish. Did he just say making fun? What's going on? All right, so like seriously, like I gotta talk to my British compatriots. Like, this is tangy. This is just Cheetos. This is just cheese flavored Doritos. They're good though. I'll give them 4 out of 5. All right, I gotta wash this down, and not with whiskey. So we got the new Mountain Dew Voodoo 4 mystery flavor. They do this every Halloween. First year was candy corn. Second year, which I thought was orange creamsicle. Second year was Skittles. Third year, last year, was like Starburst or some shit like that. I've heard people say this is sour Skittles. We shall see. So let's do it. Smells good. Oh, that's delicious. Oh, that's delicious. Now, I can see why people think it's sour Skittles, 100%. Oh my goodness. But you know what it tastes like to me? It tastes like an Airhead. In fact, it tastes like the mystery Airhead flavor usually. That tastes like an Airhead. That's rather delicious, to be honest with you. There's a zero sugar version I haven't tried. This is the first time I've tried it, so I wanted to try it live. Love the label. This is a really good. I think it's the mystery flavor Airhead, but it is kind of like sour Skittles. Maybe it could be sour. It's probably gonna be like sour fruit candy is what it's gonna be. That tastes like the mystery flavor of Airheads to me. That's so fucking good. It's like sour apple, maybe? Is it apple in particular? Oh, I don't know if it's sour apple in particular. It's sour fruit candy. Could be sour Skittles, but they're not going to call it Skittles. It's good as fuck. It tastes to me like the white mystery flavor Airheads, but I think it will just be revealed as sour fruity candy. Y'all are the best. We love you. No Rockin Robbie Live next week because I'm going to be in Memphis. But we'll be back in 2 weeks.